Part of history, Kyle.
Very, very much so.
Hey, if you make fun of yourself, you don't hurt anybody's feelings, right?
True.
Only your own.
All right, guys.
Cut the
Back
camera.
to your
Cut
corner.
the camera. Cut the camera.
Thank you.
That wasn't a loser's interview. This is not the time for tears.
Hey, we're going to continue on because that was, of course, TI6 for Kyle in a nutshell. We're going to move to TI7 because TI7 was the first time a team that started out in the upper bracket, went to the loser bracket, and then made a run all the way to the finals and won it. It was a clean 3-0 sweep for the first time in TI history. A team won without dropping a single game in the grand finals, and that team is Team Liquid.
Yep.
Almost
Their
the same.
miraculous run at TI7, they might repeat it here with even... They dropped at the lower bracket round 2 at TI7, and now they were in lower bracket round 1. So if they win this one, they're going to do even better. I love these kind of stories. And, you know, I also love memes as well. So this is... it's kicking in. They also have OG in the grand finals here.
I mean, Lucas, you got a time to actually be able to play against Kuro back in like his heyday, right? Like, what was that like? What did you view Kuro as a player back then?
He was, I mean, I know Kuro since Dota 1 days.
Yeah.
I mean, we played, we didn't ever played on a team, but, you know, against each other. And he was always a calm guy, always comes, talks to you about a lot of different stuff. His ideas about Dota were always kind of different than the other people. I guess that's why him and Puppy are the only ones who attended the all 9 TIs, because he had different ideas and he's sticking with them. He's not giving up on his opinion.
Yeah, and his dream and his goal to be the first person to take 2, right? He's very, very close, but so is OG, because after TI7, it was supposed to be a Chinese year, and it turned out not to be. We saw LGD go up against OG, and that was an exciting 5-game series that OG ended up winning, despite having like the roughest time before TI anybody has ever had.
Yeah, that's a true comeback story, I
Yes.
guess, right? Like the ultimate underdogs, basically as if Infamous were to win this TI. Thank you, Liquid Dota Power Rankings. That's what it was. I mean, you weren't stupid to have them that low. It was a fair assumption based off of what had happened to that team. They were completely dismantled, had to be put back together. They grabbed Seb, who, as much as we all love, and of course was a high MMR player, people were still just like, can he really hang the TI crowd? I mean, that was definitely the attitude towards it. And he has clearly proven that he has the capability to do that again.
Yeah.
Has he really proved it? Only...
Yeah. I mean, has he? I don't know.
I mean, has he? Come on.
I think he did.
All or nothing,
Shutting
right?
up all the haters out there.
Yeah, because there were, even after they won that TI International 2018, there were still a lot of haters, Cap. There were a lot of people that said, you know what? They got lucky.
F word.
The fluke
The
TI.
fluke word.
Yeah.
The fluke TI.
Lucky.
Yeah. People would equate them to Digital Chaos and their run. It was like, oh, great, you figured something out. It worked really well for you, but you'll never see that position again. And somehow, some way, OG, despite even having like not the greatest year throughout the DPC, they were not a front runner or anywhere really close to it. There was probably a long list of teams, you would at least 5 that you would put in front of them, right?
Yeah.
And they still managed to be the most dominant team upon entering TI. Just destroys the group stage. People are like, oh, well, they're going to get figured out like at some point in time because you've shown all your cards, but they just continue to run through the upper bracket and are now waiting for Team Liquid.
It is almost an unbelievable story, right? And then against them is Team Liquid, who, well, also had a very rough year, actually. They missed out on the first minor or major. They couldn't qualify, and I think they dropped out of the minor after dropping to the lower bracket because they didn't, I don't know, they just decided to skip out on that one. And then you see them in the group stage, and they look kind of lost.
Yeah. They're one of the teams that I personally kind of expected to be in the lower part of the bracket, based on their performance throughout the year, especially the end of the season. And here they are. But by playing each single game, they become much, much stronger. You can see the kind of mini meta developing inside their team and getting a huge boost in the confidence after each single win.
I imagine the last major must have helped too, right? The fact that you have this opportunity to prove yourself, they were kind of looking at it as practice, I would guess, right? Okay, we're a new team. Let's see how we gel together. And then you wind up going right to the finals of the major. Like, it doesn't get a whole lot better than that.
You get to figure out whether or not Wind Ranger is a viable hero.
Yeah, they figured it out.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting about these two teams matched up in the finals as well is there's another story about like how OG on their way to a TI run right, got shattered by players leaving them. And for this TI, Liquid actually have the opposite situation where they, as a team, and mostly Kuro as a captain, had to choose to kick someone. And, you know, the interview was really interesting from Kuro talking about that and saying, you know, it wasn't necessarily about Matama Man. He was basically the victim in this situation where we needed to be able to revitalize the team. And it says a lot about motivation. I think what's so cool about the International is, and Dota 2 in general as an esport, is its history. And the fact that we have come so far without being able to crown a TI winner twice, that's finally going to be broken.
Yes.
And so much of that comes down to motivation and being able to maintain that will to push through all of these tough competitors to be the best.
And to adapt, because Dota changes. That's why we love it.
Yeah.
That's why it's been
Yeah.
around
Yep.
forever. And it's crazy that you could have the same roster that won a TI, and then you could be going towards TI and be like, oh, this won't work. I mean, how can we possibly win TI with this guy? It's amazing that you have to try and adapt yourself to those changes and really make that hard decision of just like, you know, someone's got to go.
Someone's got, yeah, and it worked, you know? It's got them
Well,
to the
we'll
finals.
see.
Well, I think
I mean-
already getting to the finals is a great achievement regardless. We are going to have a two-time champion, guaranteed. There are going to be 9 TI champions playing on the stage, 10 people on the stage that have played in TI final before, because you mentioned the Digital Chaos run, Cap. That one had a Weehai in it. So he has got experience with the amount of pressure. We talk a lot about the TI pressure, and I think everybody has seen the true sides from both Liquid and OG in their respective finals runs. There is one overarching story there that goes for both. They were all fairly comfortable and just like focus on the Dota. Don't think about winning. Don't think about anything else. Just relax and have fun with it.
Yeah, these are all experienced players that played at multiple LAN events. I remember like my first LAN event where your hands are actually shaking. You're doing a lot of mistakes. After you play a couple of those, you don't really care whether you're playing inside the arena because you used to be playing only at home. And after that, I mean, it's just your mental strength that is growing after that.
Yeah, it has been a crazy road to the finals for these teams in a mental way, also in a Dota way though, and we do have a recap for you on how these teams got to the finals.
Everyone thinks they know what it takes to become a champion. But so few actually face the hurdles that litter the road to victory. To claim the Aegis takes everything you can muster, more than you even knew you had.
Thompson waiting under the tower. He's just tanking through all of it. A triple kill for Thompson. And now the jump in from Freeman in the corner. Toss them down. This may just be it with none of them.
You need the courage to fight, the will to overcome adversity, the confidence to outlast doubt.
He'll keep himself safe. He has to kill Miracle. Miracle. He has no buyback, dead for 2 minutes.
But Setsu's isolated.
And RNG have lost everything.
We go concoction again. Back up together. Finish it in style. This game's over.
You need to stand tall against your enemies and embrace the strengths of your friends. You will be tested.
He can jump in if he wants to. Thinking about it, Fisher to open up GH, the Echo Slam. Is it quite going to be enough? They have the Ravage to try and turn it. Weehaw so freaking low as they all are getting torn apart. Isha.
You will be battered and bent, but never broken. You will follow in the footsteps of legends and trust that someday others will follow in yours.
Activated Soul Catcher on him. Press the attack though. Helping him out. Earth Splitter. Oh, but
They found the duel.
They caught on, man. He's dead for 2 minutes. The volley's coming in, but it's not good enough. OG are going to the grand finals for the second.
You will understand the magnitude of each moment without losing sight of the prize ahead, because you know this is your time. This is your fight. It's all on the line.
All on the line for Team Liquid and OG. This is a battle that for me goes back to 2015. That's when these two squads different iterations were formed, and they were kind of formed around the same time. It's when the original Secret fell apart. It's when that was the biggest shuffle that I think we witnessed in Dota 2 history to date. Kind of scared for the ones
for it.
to come.
What were their original squad names? Monkey Business and
Monkey Business.
Jungs?
5 Jungs.
Jungs.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
Damn.
And that first major that came around when those two teams were formed, it was the Boston major at that point. OG ended up winning that, and this European qualifier, it wasn't really European qualifier, it was Europe and CIS together.
Yes.
And it had Secret, Virtus Pro, it was a different Secret then, of course, Virtus Pro, Liquid, at Finim, and OG.
Yeah.
These 5, and only 3 or 2 would make it through. I think 3 at that point. It was so crazy. I remember everybody being so just baffled by the fact that Liquid didn't make it to that major, and neither did Secret actually.
I mean, considering how good Adfinem was playing back in the days and their magical run as well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, there were some magical runs in there. A lot of emotions that we've seen from OG over the years, and actually over the last couple of days as well. We saw No-Tail in a winner's interview yesterday, and we just want you to see that again in case you missed it.
Before this tournament, things were a bit dark. My dog had died, and yeah, it was really rough for a couple of weeks.
Sorry.
My self-esteem was pretty low, and now we're here. Sebastian, I mean, honestly, I dedicate this tournament to him. Oh, fuck, this is so crazy.
You're making me cry. Stop it.
No, but really, thank you, Sebastian, and of course, everyone else. Just feeling so fucking lucky, feeling so fucking good. Yeah. That's fucking adrenaline, I'm shaking. Woo!
What a roller coaster of emotion in just 20 seconds. Not even 20, 10 seconds. Right? You start on being sad.
All the way down.
I mean, it is crazy. Reaching the TI Grand Finals 2 years in a row. What are the odds of that? Is there any odds for that? I don't think so, Trent.
Nahaz?
Nahaz?
Any odds?
No stats from Nahaz for that
You
one.
know it's serious when Alan's speechless.
I mean, that is unheard of. We have, of course, seen Navi squad being in finals back-to-back, but never the same squad, never the same 5 players. So this is already a phenomenal achievement. And then also facing a team with 4 other TI Grand Finalist champions.
It goes to show that OG really is something special, right? The fact that Liquid had to kick somebody to be able to revitalize the entire team, to be able to add something else to the squad. And OG was just able to do it through sheer willpower and momentum, I guess. And in a lot of ways, you saw No-Tail saying that, like, it was a really dark moment before this tournament, and he turned to his teammates and his friends, and apparently in particular Seb. And they were all there to support him and have brought him along in this journey all the way to the grand finals.
And he said he can't even imagine playing Dota with anyone else now, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can really picture anyone else on OG.
No.
I mean, even though they
Never
weren't together that long, when I'm watching them play through the year, and then you have like Anna leaving for a bit, and you have these stand-ins coming in, you're just like, you're not OG.
Yeah, you're not part of our
that's not my
family.
OG
We need
right here.
Anna back. I mean, sometimes you have this connection with a certain player that not just playing Dota, it's like you have this friend that you travel with to every single event. I mean, I've said it yesterday, they're basically your family.
Yes.
So it's not just a team, it's Dota that brings people together.
Like No-Tail and Fly used to be.
Well, this turned dark real quickly.
I mean, this is the roller coaster of emotions. This is what we're
a roller
doing
coaster
here.
of emotions.
In a lot of ways, though, that I don't think No-Tail and Fly ever experienced these kind of deep emotions, right? They went through a lot together, but they were always like a relatively, okay squad, but didn't really experience the highest of highs nor the lowest of lows. Maybe in the
Achieving that
Heroes
life
and New Earth
goal.
days, right?
Yeah.
But in the age of Dota 2, where they're deeper into adulthood and stuff, like it's really that combination of No-Tail and Seb who went through the most incredible experiences, and those kind of trials, both like being able to get those successes, but also the trials, the awfulness.
Yeah.
It really binds you together with somebody.
It really does. I think the international really binds to us all. It's an international tournament that has been around for 9 years already, and a 10th hopefully next year as well. And with that in mind, special announcement for you.
Dandy, he goes for the dream call, he gets him. Navi have just won $1 million.
Patience from Zoe. Navi's about to be caught. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuum in. Ravage on everyone. Alliance are doing it. The Kings of the North. Alliance wins. The Chrono's on 2. 3 dead for VG.
EPD, here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the turn! Here from Eva, into the faster!
He runs the lead. No take it down.
Liquid have done it!
Is it Armel?
The International is a celebration of the enormous power of professional Dota and of the community that has taken part in the journey from the very first International to the one we're all watching today. Next year, Stockholm is excited to host this global celebration by welcoming the 10th International Dota 2 Championship to our wonderful city. And Stockholm is bursting of creativity, and the passion for Dota runs deep. And we are honored to host the world in cheering on your favorite teams while paying a tribute to a decade of champions as they compete for the most prestigious trophy in all of esports.
Stockholm, Sweden, home to some of the grassroots tournaments in Dota 1, in Dota 2, home to, of course, all the dream hacks that people went to in your 9, your 12. You know, you grow up with that, you grow up with that LAN experience, and now home to the International 2020. Or TI-10, now we got to choose.
The International is back to Europe, baby, after all these years.
You finally did it.
Yes,
you got
we
in
did.
here, show up to TI, and look where it goes next.
Is it still not on the other side of Europe for you?
Nah, it's still closer than all the other teams.
That's true.
I mean, does this confirm Europe as the strongest region?
I think,
Besides 2 teams being in the grand finals?
and 3 of them being in the top 4.
I just hope people don't start taking this as, oh, it must be if the champions, whoever wins the H is going to be able to get the
No.
international in their region.
Anna
because,
tried his hardest for
because
it.
it'll never come back to the U.S. if that's the case.
Come on. And it can't be. I think people, though, underestimate the amount of prep that goes into, you know, creating a tournament like this. You can't decide a year before. Let's go anywhere. You got to do that like a year and a half in advance, or at least a year and a half, I think, something like that. I don't know. I don't organize tournaments. I just, you know, talk about them lovingly, actually. And I'm going to also talk about these grand finals, because we have talked a lot about the roads these teams have taken. We haven't really talked too much about the players in those teams, and I want to do that too, because these 2 teams, as much as they have an immense history together in terms of performing against each other, they also have some intricacies in terms of players. We got on one side, in the OG side, there's Jerex, and on the other side, in the Liquid side, it's Miracle. This is, by the way, some live footage. Players getting ready to enter the pods. In case you're wondering what.
They're being searched for.
He's doing his stretches.
At first, I thought no-tail. Like, the first shot of him holding out both arms, I was like, is this some sort of, like, you know, meditation technique or what's going on here? But obviously, they're making sure that...
So they can't... Why we see all the stacks of papers is because you can't take any technology into the booth. The phones are taken away by the admins as well. You saw them still holding it because that's the only thing you can kind of still have, and the rest is gonna... it's just paper, nothing else. Obviously, fair playing field and all that.
A lot of paper.
Big
A lot
stacks
of paper. I'm expecting everybody to be carrying around stacks. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like the first time they did that didn't really work out as well. You know, that first game that OG had against PSG LGD wasn't their strongest one.
Do they need the stacks of paper, though? They're not matched up against LGD anymore. Just watched Liquid watching themselves on
Yeah.
the TV screen. That was a very cute
Get
moment.
that infinite vision, like, whoa, yeah, there we go.
It's always fun to see the players like laughing a little bit beforehand. There's a lot of talk about what you do right before TI. Maybe, for example, or sorry, not FY. Rather, he like goes out and takes a smoke.
Yeah.
And I see him always like outside just before the match. He just tries to calm down. Some of the players try and make a little jokes to lighten the mood a little bit and not let everything that starts sinking in.
Yeah, no tail like riding on the back of
Yep.
socks, you know,
Yeah.
everything like that.
All right. You guys, it is time to get this international 2019 Grand Finals started in style.
Oh.
All the way from the lower bracket, it is Team Liquid ready to take the stage. A chance for the second ages of 4 of those players. Chance for the first for Weeha, of course, but all 5 of them experienced with the pressure coming from performing on the grand stage of the International in the Grand Finals. Their opponents, OG. The defending champions of the International 2018, now again on the grand stage of the International 2019, OG taking the stage, ready to face up against what some would say is their nemesis, Team Liquid, and they look ready. Smiles are had, cheers are had by the crowd. I cannot wait to get this match started. A best of 5 between 2 giants in Dota 2.
Nemesis, rivals, friends, the lines get blurry, right?
Yeah.
Dota 2 is such a tight community in many ways, and you want to be friends with some of these players. In fact, you might end up being teammates with them in the future, or maybe you were in the past. But in this moment, they're going to be the bitter rivals.
And you can see the 7 there already just amped. They look exactly like last year, right? He's in there. I can read some lips as to what he's saying. Maybe not broadcast friendly there, but he is hyping up that team, getting them ready in the booth. The drums of war are playing, and finally it is time. They've been sitting back there. They've been watching everything. The crowd is ready, as you can hear.
That cheer was for Seb.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that said, you know, they're not going to cheer as loud as for a PSG LGD. And while that might be true, these people are not silent. They are definitely cheering their hearts out. I also want to take you back to a moment when we talked to, or when Casey talked to Kuro yesterday. What did he say? What did he say?
I don't know, but I guess we'll have to find out later.
We're finding out later. I can tell you what he said.
That would be good.
That will be good. He said...
Do you do an impression or no?
No, there's
okay.
no way.
I just want to make sure.
I think that would be disrespectful to a lot of people. No, he basically said after the group stages, and we all knew OG was crushing it, Liquid at the bottom of the barrel, and they are both people that with an unhealthy habit for which they need to go outside. This is what happened.
No Tails are ready for you in the grand final. He told us in his interview that Liquid is who he's been waiting to face.
Yeah, but basically after the group stage, Note and I met in the balcony and saw he was in the upper bracket. I was like top 16. And I asked him to wait me in the finals. Like I'm gonna like try to go there all the way. And I mean, I hope we can do it. Yeah.
This is like a movie. Meet me in the finals.
Yeah, some history there. I really love seeing these two going head to head. And actually, overall, historically, it has been Liquid that has been victorious when facing OG. You want to take a little bit of a jab at their head to head results, Trent?
How many we talk, like a percentage?
Okay, no,
here?
I have the actual games, and they are a total of exactly 50 games.
50 games against each other. I'm gonna say Liquid 30. No, Liquid 29.
I'm gonna say Liquid 32 against 18.
Cap, you want to go
Can I go prices right on this and say 33?
It's 33.
Oh, got him.
You're the worst.
No, Liquid
I'm
has
the best.
Has a 33.
He saw that note before. No way.
No, you said 32.
Well, I was.
So I just went
I'm
one
just
up?
good. I'm paying attention. You know,
No,
writing stuff down. Where's your book?
I have it all up
Yeah,
here because I
yeah.
pay attention.
Are you saying it's
I
okay,
memorized
Jason?
all of my
got,
notes.
like...
For example, did you know that GH in an interview going into this group stage, he said that
Yes,
he
I
did
did.
expect that OG was going to be a very tough opponent. They knew that going into this international. They fully expected that. And in a lot of ways, GH said that they admired OG and they want to be able to replicate some of what OG does best, just turn it, a little bit into their flavor. Maybe he was talking about hero picks and stuff, but who knew that he was actually talking about OG being able to make a run through a lower bracket at a DPC event all the way into the finals, maybe even taking it.
I'm not surprised that other teams are stealing other teams' strat. We saw Team Secret playing the carry IO, and they definitely stole it from OG. No
Our man
doubt
said
about
it
it.
himself, right? There's no shame in copying strats.
As
There's
long
no
as
shame
you
in
maybe do
stealing
it
or
better.
no shame in admitting.
Both, I think.
It's a big, isn't it? So there's a saying about it being the imitation is the biggest form of flattery. You know, it's like, hey, what you're doing is really good. We're gonna try to do the same because we think that's the way to play. That's a big compliment. I do think these two teams have a little bit of different styles of playing Dota, but I do think both are very active early on. I think we're gonna have some fun with these games, Cap.
Yeah, I think we are too, because 33 out of 50.
33
I
out
mean,
of
that's still
50.
relatively close, and there were some times where OG were a little bit of shaky as a roster, where
Right,
Liquid
yeah.
maintained like constant dominance. They were always like one of those teams that were like top 3 once they really got into form, and they just never really let that go. So here, it feels like the odds are 50-50 in many ways. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You have a favorite here?
I think this might be. I mean, I don't want to jinx it. But this looks like it could be another 3-0 or
Really?
3-1 to me.
For who?
In favor of who?
OG, you're terrifying. Have you guys been watching these games?
Yeah,
Hello?
but they got Alchemist.
Let me check my
They got
notes.
Alchemist twice to be able to get into the grand finals.
Oh, they
All
don't
right?
need
Kuro's
Alchemist.
not going to do that.
So they don't have Alchemist. They have the IO.
But have you
Yeah,
seen
but
the,
Liquid also has the IO.
The same IO? Does it look like Anna's IO?
Maybe it's a different kind of IO,
It's a
but
much
it's just
worse
as
IO.
good.
I mean, both of
Oh,
these
I don't
teams
know about
know how
that.
to play IO, so
Yes.
they know how to counter it unless they decide to ban it out if they don't have a first pick.
We're gonna find out about
a lot of mind
all
games.
that later on. When you guys talk about performing, these teams are no stranger to being in a grand finals. Liquid and OG actually themselves were in the grand finals of the Manila Major. OG won that one, even though Liquid kind of feels that they should have. If you talk to them, also at that point, it was Jarex indeed on OG and Miracle on. Actually, it was Jarex on Liquid and Miracle on OG. Liquid has also been in the grand finals of the Shanghai Major, where Weeha was actually successful against them. Now he's with the team. Perhaps that's what they needed. But they haven't won a major. Am I correct in saying that? Or did they win the Epicenter
TI
major
winners,
last year?
that's it.
Just TI winners.
Yeah, all that
you know.
matters. Right.
Yeah, potato. No, all of these players have tremendous experience. Sebastian has been to 5 TIs. If you don't count talent or wild cards, and 3 of those were as a player. This is his 5th TI. He's been talented too. This is your second year as talent, right, Trent?
Yeah, that's true.
Does that mean you're gonna, transition into coach, into player?
No,
you're gonna do the same route.
He's making spot for me. That's good. I need him up there, or else I run into some trouble.
Seb
That's why you're saying 3-0 for OG.
Yeah.
You don't want Seb to quit.
No,
I don't
Seb, keep going, buddy. You got this.
I don't think anyone made the transition from straight out talent to coach or player. Like, you need to be a player before.
Yeah.
Have you been a
I'd
player
hope so.
before?
No. In fact, the only people foolish enough to hire me were Complexity during that TI5 run. So there you go. See how that worked out for old Kyle.
Wasn't great.
Good thing he's gone.
But are you hinting at something here, Lacoste? Would you ever consider going as a coach? Like, obviously, you see Soxka on the stage. Soxka used to be also a TI1, TI2. He played wildcards TI3. He's no stranger to the Dota 2 scene, especially to the early Dota 2 scene, where you were also an active player
Yes,
part of that.
I try to coach a little bit the Serbian/Croatian squad, the Elements Pro Gaming during the Boston Major. Well, that didn't end well, but here I am now. I don't know. Coaching is a bit hard. Someone in the interview talked about, I think it was Heen, who said, like, I can coach, but I don't know what to do. I've never done it before. So just do your own thing. I don't know. I think there's a lot of smart people in the community who can be coaches, but you don't have the chance to prove it. I'm not talking about myself. Don't worry.
Well, I was talking to Heen, and he was saying that he wished he had more time. I was like, geez, you already had quite a bit of time with TNC, but he still wants more time. It's like it never ends, right? And I think the idea of coaching is that you have to really be there. You have to be a part of that family in order to do the best possible job. Coaching is not a thing where you can just like show up to the LAN and be like, hey guys, so what are we doing this time? Like it's not even enough to be at the boot camps. I think you really need this like full-on team dynamic of just like we are together all the time, all the year, becoming a single unit if you want the full effectiveness.
The hardest
of a coach.
part is when team is not doing well. This is when you struggle. Like, you can see the players arguing against each other. When things are going smoothly, you can kind of look like a good coach.
I can be a good weather coach.
Yeah.
It's the most difficult thing to be a bad weather coach, though. Can you take your squad out of a rut and bring it to greatness? That is kind of the only time you're really tested.
I think you kind of have to be like the hardest worker on the team. We heard Curl actually compliment his coach, Roman, RMN. And this is a guy that I think in order to be a good coach, you just have to have a passion for Dota that doesn't exist with anybody else. You have to have been one of those people who's so passionate about the game, you tried to go and play pro, right? Because you loved it so much, you were playing it so much, and you got that good because you cared so much about the game. And Armen was one of those guys. He was a semi-pro. He was playing for Team Goomba. I casted many of a tier 3.
All the German style.
Me and you, were casting the tier 3 games together. Team Goomba.
His name goes back in the Dota 1 days as well. I know Roman for 10 plus years probably.
It's actually very interesting if you look into the history of all those tier 3 Dota 2 stacks, because a lot of these people that are on the stage right now play together at some point. We have Mind Control. Obviously, everybody knows that he came from the FPL ranked leaderboard list when he joined Liquid. But before that, he was a part of Basically Unknown.
Yeah, that roster was like...
It was
like
Seb
a revolving
and Soxka.
door. Right?
Yeah, it was a revolving door. There were a lot of people on there, but 2 people that he actually spent time on a team with were Seb and Soxka. I thought that was very interesting. Also, I'm going to ask you guys a pop quiz.
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy.
You ready?
Yes.
Another one of those rotating door teams. Balkan Bears.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we got this one.
Okay.
There were 5 players in this TI, and a couple that are on stage that were in Balkan Bears.
Okay, we got the easy one, the gimme. We got Weehaw.
Weehaw.
Miracle, another gift.
We have Miracle, both on stage. Both used to be
the
up.
App Store on it?
Yes, he
Yeah,
was.
it was.
I don't think you're going to guess the other two.
Was it
Hold on, hold
No-Tail?
It was not No Tail.
They were here in
Good
TI.
guess, though.
They are here in TI. They were part of the, they are part of the 16. Top
I remember
16.
at one point in time, Balkan Bears pulled in like a somewhat well-known name, but he was a little bit like washed up at a time.
None of these people are from
Misery.
Balkan, though.
No, that's
No, these two people will not be from the Balkans.
stop. She's got us.
All right,
Yeah, so shall I
give us
just
the
say it?
first letter.
From which one? From the first or the second?
First
Alright,
one.
Care,
First one.
just give it to us.
F. There's not that many
Is it
people.
Fada? Fada was on Balkan Bears?
No.
Are there any other Fs?
It's not FY for sure.
You sure he didn't make for us?
There's really nobody else with another F. It's Fly.
Ah.
And the other one starts with a
Same
P.
region. Yeah.
Pili Die. I'll spoil it for you.
Okay,
What is
Fly was
interesting
the name I was thinking.
is that with those Balkan Bears, Miracle and Weeha obviously both used to be mid players, and they kind of kept replacing each other. They swapped back and forth in terms of being on the squad, getting kicked and replaced by the other, and then vice versa again as well. So I thought that was kind of a nice thing, and now obviously they get the chance to play together. But isn't that crazy that all those grassroots teams of people struggling to make it as a profession?
Yeah.
There, there's success stories in
Well,
there.
what's even harder than that too is that you hear sometimes like Miracle or Yapsor talk about people who they played with back home. They're like, "Oh, this guy was so good."
Yeah.
And you're just like, what if that same person was given those opportunities? Like I've heard them talk about guys who played these WHGs, and there's like, Aframoosh or like Hook. Like I know from that region, there's like these guys are so good.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because you were just like so close to being a part of this. And then that just like drives you further to want to try that, depending on like the boundaries in your life to go for it. But obviously these guys fully committed, and this is what they've done with it.
Many of them have been kicked or experienced. Like we talk about like the failure that happens at TI, but like at least you got to TI and you experienced some level of success and you managed to make some money. But before all of that was the grind where you weren't making that money. You were getting kicked out of teams, or your teams would disband or something like that. And you would experience failure after failure after failure. And I think in many ways it hardened some of these players and continue to strengthen their resolve to push past. And now when they experience the same kind of failures on a much larger scale, they're ready for it.
Yeah, if you want to fully commit, there's going to be ups and downs for sure, but you need to go through those downs, and it is the hardest part.
Apart from one player on the stage that didn't went to the grind. He started playing, his first professional results were in 2017. And then he got to 2018, he's like, okay, let's win this thing. I'm talking about Thompson, of course. He is one of the few Royal Roaders we have. I'm adopting the term.
You can't tell, though, because the way that he walks onto stage, I think he has the most swag of any player here at TI. I think out of all the walkouts I've seen, he's got the broad shoulders all of a sudden.
Why?
He hasn't cut his hair yet. He's doing this.
You know why.
Can we get a close-up on Trent while he does that, please?
I mean, you can just put me side by side by
Keep
Thompson.
that swagger going,
it's the
baby.
exact same thing. It's just there's
yeah.
a death stare, and he's just walking.
And the hair is flowing behind.
Yeah, it's like blowing in the wind. The smoke comes through.
Keep going, Trent. Keep going.
All right,
that man right there.
Yeah, that's him.
He's got about 8 brothers, right? I think that's where that comes from.
Yes, that's right. The top son.
You know, you gotta swag out each other. You gotta be.
And he got him. That's all I'm saying. No, that guy won TI. He's like, where are you at now, siblings?
I mean,
I'm a successful engineer. I have a lawyer practice. I play video games that have made millions of dollars. Top son, baby.
Every dinner he's just popping off.
I mean, it's pretty amazing that we call him a Royal Roader because he won his TI in the first try, and now he's in the finals again. If he win, what do you call someone that wins 2 TIs 2 times in a row? The only TIs I've ever played.
Retired, man. I'm out of here. See you later.
No. That's Anna's line. That's Anna's line. He's just here for the paycheck.
When we talk about Team Liquid, they also have, of course, a Royal Roader there, Lacoste. You got GH.
Well, yeah, GH also came out of nowhere, I would say, and suddenly he's here about to win the second TI. And I mean, there's a lot of skilled players from the region where he's coming from, and you mentioned Aframoosh and
Hook.
Mage.
Yeah,
Hook.
Mage.
There's a lot of skilled players that need to be given opportunity. Also, I think the scene there is actually growing, like really flourishing.
I mean, if you talk about people given a chance, Miracle came out of nowhere. Anna came out of nowhere. That was a big question mark when OG picked him up. GH also out of nowhere. These 10 players on stage, they all were giving a shot at a time. There's obviously a couple of grinders at the top there. Kuroki, and we haven't really talked about him yet because we have said so much about Kuro already. He's been at all 9 internationals, multiple grand finals. I think this is his third. Won one of them, and he started playing well before the first TI. He said he started playing Dota in 2008. You know, he's had over a decade of experience there. It is crazy to think that he is still on top of his game, able to be on top of his game. There's not a lot of players that could say that.
Yeah, I like the fact that we do have this narrative of all these new players who've been given a chance, because there was a history of Dota, both Dota 1 and a lot of Dota 2 history. Probably the first 3-4 years where the people who got the chance to be able to play professionally, it was very tightly held. It was considered that like pubs, it wasn't really a good true sense of skill, and it came down to getting an opportunity to try out for a team, and that obviously came with being able to know somebody and have someone vouch for you. And there's a lot of stories about that. You know, like 1437, you know, got vouched by Fear, for example. There's a lot like that.
That was the word back then, man. The vouch. That was like, that's all you needed. You needed in that in-house.
In-house leagues, yes.
You tried not to get 1v1 out of the in-house league. Also very important, but that's where a lot of these teams came from.
It really is. It's impressive. Hey, every time, if you think back of all of the internationals, you know, every international is known for something. TA8, OG Cinderella run. You got TA7, lower bracket run for Liquid. You know, everything has something. What is this TI going to be known for?
Best group stage.
Second TI winner. I mean,
second TI winner.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to overshadow everything
comebacks
at this time.
Handsomest English final panel.
Oh, also true.
I like it.
Thanks to Lacoste.
Thank you.
It's a snazzy shoot.
It really is. I do want to, you know, cater also to people that don't really watch Dota at all. You know, hello, I know you're there. Tune in once a year. We love to have you, and we love to talk to you about all the players we have playing on stage. You know, we have obviously a big passion for the game, and we love to share that passion. And I want to, you know, set the story for you for these two teams facing each other. And obviously, as Trent just mentioned, there is a chance of well, first of all, there's a chance of a back-to-back TI champion. That is crazy. And then there's, regardless, going to be a 2-time champion at this International 2019.
And
now, what other stories should people be aware of? Like, just the people stories.
Well, why should they play Dota, is what I would say. I mean, if you're here and you're just watching once a year, I think we need to change that. They should come and play
more often.
Dota.
Or watching more often. You know, Dota is a spectator sport.
Yeah, just come for us. That's also fine. But if you want to, you know, get some more enjoyment and learn more about the game, even if you think you're going to be terrible, even if you think it might not be the best time, you are going to thoroughly enjoy these games a lot more if you play Dota. You can learn more. You can appreciate what these players are doing a heck of a lot more when you try and do similar things and go, wow, this is very difficult.
Yeah. I played Eon of Strife, Tides of Blood, then I switched to Dota when it came out. Now I'm playing Dota 2. It's been probably 15 years combined. It's basically half of my life. I'm not that young, even though I look young. So 15 years of Dota, and look where it got me.
And how many friends have you made along the way?
A lot of
In
friends.
15 years' time, you too could be up on this panel.
A bit less, I would say. And I do have a lot of friends.
It's a community. It's an ever-changing game.
Yeah.
It's the hardest. Nothing is more satisfying than getting better at Dota.
Yeah, it is definitely the deepest game in that regard, both when it comes to the mechanics and strategy, but the history, right?
Yeah.
Like we're talking about, like I think that's what makes Dota 2 as an esport really interesting, is the very, very deep history that starts with that kind of grassroots buildup. You really can't get that kind of a faithful esport than something that has been built up from the ground, just purely through fans loving the game, loving a custom mod of a game that's in another game. You know, trying to explain that to your friends, you sound real dumb. Believe me,
the best
I tried.
feeling in Dota is when you hang out with your friends on TeamSpeak or whatever and play with them after 10 p.m. Your belly is full, you know, and enemy team is trying to fall back to their base, and that's the best feeling. You're trying to kick them when they're down. You're chasing them to their base. That's
kind of like OG, bristleback in the fountain, that kind of stuff. That was peak Dota on the stage.
We're trying to send happy thoughts here. Okay?
That's happy thoughts.
That's very happy for one team.
Yeah. You might have to be a little bit on the other side too when you're still learning.
We raise ourselves up by tearing each other down. That's what we do in Dota.
Come on over. We need more to tear down.
We need more foundation.
All right, guys. Let's also not forget that we are at the moment the biggest. We have the biggest prize pool in all of esports history, with all the different games combined. Well, not combined, but all the different games there. Over $34 million, and the winner gets 45% of that, which is just over 15 million.
And there's your 34 million reasons to start playing Dota.
Yeah, play Dota right now. Because it's actually surprising, some of the younger squads, everybody is always, younger people, normally better, blah, blah. Not here. Experience, we heard Puppy say it earlier as well when he got eliminated. He said the best practice for the International is playing at the International. Now, you don't get that chance very often, and you need some of that experience before you can, securely win an international. Of course, that doesn't go for all people, but for in most cases, that is true.
Yeah, it took him almost 200 games of the International to be able to lead a squad confidently. I mean, you even heard, like, back when he was a veteran of the TI5, TI6 days, we saw that there was some issues happening there, and you just need to be able to grind out that experience, just like you have to do with everything else in Dota 2.
Grind out the experience. Or watch. You can watch. You don't have to play.
Don't let them off easy.
No,
make them play.
They're watching right now. We should appreciate that fact.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you. When you see Liquid and OG going up against each other head to head, what's the first thing that comes to your mind, Lacoste?
Europe.
All right.
Says the European.
All right, because both of these squads are from the European region, and throughout the year, there's always a lot of discussion. What is the strongest region? And I think that this iteration, this DPC Season 2, and the finale, of course, right here in Shanghai, it is a clear answer, clear winner. We have 2 European teams in the finals, and in the top 4, there were 3 even. I see some people.
I don't want to engage in this conversation.
They got us on this one.
The 2 North Americans are who we automatically checked out. Hey, let's talk about this strongest region. Just wait till next year. We've got somebody on the draft panel who is going to do great work for us in North America.
No
by the way, another person who got into Dota thanks to Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Tsunami play.
Gunnar got into it off of TF2.
Yeah, there it is.
Listen, Cap, I appreciate the well wishes, but I think the world isn't ready for me. Oh, right, Gunnar, you're also pretty good. I think.
Hi.
You're a hell of a player.
Yeah, I try.
And this must be incredibly enticing for you to see. You see all the storylines and everything like that. You could be that rookie player next time.
I can make my own story.
Oh, you gonna write it? With Febby, hopefully.
Yo, Febby, can we claim you as NA as well?
Oh yeah,
he's played in our region for a while.
He's Canadian. He's my boy.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot you're Canadian. My bad.
When people talk about, sorry guys, I'm gonna cut you off for a little bit again. You gotta prep, and you gotta make sure that you say a lot of smart things about the draft that is to come very soon. Because I wanna talk more about the players, because often when you're talking about OG. You're talking about all the players, and I feel like a lot of people feel like Jerix is left out. And I wanna praise him a little bit here, because he is on the finals again, and he is a phenomenal player. He actually also he went to Korea at some point. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna start making this a career. I'm gonna move to Korea and play professionally there. He played like he is an old school player. He played together with Sunbi and Heen in a TI at some point.
That's one of those big leaps.
Yeah.
Talking about people like maybe knocking an opportunity in certain regions. He made an opportunity, right? He took a massive leap to do something like that into an area that wasn't very well developed. Of course, I mean, Blitz and Purge thrived
Dota-wise.
So they were able to try and bring that scene up a little bit, and then there's the man himself.
What was that team? MVP Hot 6?
MVP Hot 6, yeah. Yes. And he did that after he is finished, of course. And when you're finished, you have to do military service. So he did that after his military service. He moved to Korea.
That was like some
that
sleeping.
smile, that hair, that must be Jarek's. Also, the dude's a smoke breaker. I think he breaks the most smokes in the game. I don't know if we don't talk a lot about Jarek's, but I do for sure. Like the dude's just a beast.
Really is.
His positioning in team fights is extremely well. You can always see him doing stuff. Has a buyback when it's needed. Does not hesitate to use it at all. His decision making is in basically milliseconds.
Yeah, he definitely enables the OG playstyle that they want to be able to go for. This was a conscious decision that they made. They decided, how do we want to play? We want to be aggressive. We want to be able to play in the enemy's face all the time. They made that decision that was going to be their playstyle. They're probably the best at it. And as a result, they're here at the International. It goes to show, like, you can make different kind of playstyles work. We've seen a lot of different ones here at the TI.
He's a very good risk calculator.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe he swings and he misses on a few plays, but overall, I feel like he is a guy who I see take some roll in an Earth Spirit or something. I'm just like, oh god, that's so dangerous, and then he hits it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god. If any player had to miss that, this turns into a double kill the other way, but he's consistent, right? He sets up those massive plays for OG, so we will talk about him. We will watch him.
We will really, really watch him, and we will also do so very, very soon. I know you guys have been waiting for a while to get this started, and it is finally time for the grand finals of the International 2019.
OG versus Team Liquid. Grand Finals, Game 1.
First team to take 3 games will win this entire tournament. As you saw earlier, I'm joined here by Gunnar and Febby, and as they had briefly mentioned on the panel, this is 2 European teams, and this is the first time that 2 teams from the same region have been competing in TI Grand Finals since 2014, which it was Vici Gaming and Newbie.
Yeah.
So, I want to ask you really quickly, as we are soon getting into this draft, what's it like playing another team for your region, and what's like the scrim culture? Because obviously, when someone's very close to you geographically, it makes sense to play them frequently in scrims. So, what kind of information do you get during scrims? Are you more trying to figure out what you're good at, or are you trying to figure out what the enemy team is bad at? You're trying to figure out new strats. You're trying to play heroes. What exactly do teams get by doing scrims?
Well, a lot of the times in tournaments, whenever same region teams play each other, you'll see that there's like upsets, right? Where it's like this really strong team that could be like top 6, top 4, whatever, is getting knocked out by, like maybe a top 12 team or something like that from their same region. And it's because they play each other, like you said, a lot, right? They know their strats, they know the way they like to draft, they know the players, especially from pubs. Like you play the pubs with some player, this guy likes to pick these type of heroes, he likes to kind of make this stuff around the map, and sure, it's not in a competitive as aspect all times, but you get a feel for all the players. So that's why a lot of the times, like here, I'm expecting to see the games be like a little closer than OG's like normal run, right?
Right. And Liquid are doing a good job to make sure that doesn't happen, as we see in the first phase bans already taking away a lot of the things that OG have been proving to be extremely powerful on, the IO, the Magnus, and the Alchemist.
And but OG do get Enchantress.
They do.
Which they're probably like the best Enchantress team right now. Because they play 5.
Mm-hmm.
So if you try to like super hard counter this Enchantress, you pick some like Lightstealer, Gyro. These are like okay counters, but you pick some hard counter to the edge and they put it on No-Tail and then call it a day. Give Seb a new hero.
Is Chen one of those heroes? Because I know back in the day when both these heroes used to be all about getting neutral creeps, it seemed that there was a real give and take between Enchantress and Chen. Both these heroes have kind of changed their role, Febby. Why exactly do you think Liquid goes for the Chen to respond to this Enchantress?
I think they're looking to group up early and push early and just like have a better early to mid team fight. I think that's what they're thinking right now, especially with the Tide pickup as well.
Also, both heroes in the early game have changed their playstyle a lot. It used to be Enchantress would go for Enchant a lot. And she'd get a creep, the Wildkin, she'd have a little more bonus armor, she'd have a Tornado, and that would be like her lane support, right? And now she's more getting heal and untouchable, and she's kind of just right-clicking your carry. And Chen, on the other hand, he has his new passive ability. I guess it's not a passive anymore, right?
It's got a passive component and an active component.
Active, yeah,
so the Divine Favor gives the aura, and then obviously the active teleports you around the map.
So the the passive gives you everyone HP regen in an area, and increases the HP regen by percentage. So now a lot of the Chens you'll see they buy a headdress, which also gives everyone bonus 2 HP regen. So now everyone from level 1 in Chen's lane is gonna have like 5 HP regen. When they pair it with a hero like Tidehunter, that guy doesn't take damage. So they can kind of match these lanes up, the 2 from Liquid, put them in any hard lane, and they're gonna get a lot out of it.
I want to talk about like the meta a little bit in TI because I played in I think 3 or 4 TIs. I think it was 3, and I've been watching other TIs as well. So the meta shifts twice in TI. Once is after the group stage ends and when the what is this called? The
main event.
The main events for our starts. Like a lot of teams like take like those few days.
Especially during the 1 day break, right? There's a day break between the groups and the main stage.
Yeah, they study everything and they decide like what's really good in the meta. And we've been kind of seeing tiny void popping up in the main stage. And at the grand finals, meta shifts again. The first game kind of doesn't matter. It feels good if you win. But I think like Liquid from the first pick bans, because that's like the most important, because that actually shifts your the whole pick ban. So I think this is going to be a really important match to see if they are able to actually beat OG's Enchantress, because it's going to give them a huge edge if they win this, if they are able to beat the Enchantress, because they can play it themselves too.
It's also kind of crazy if you look at this, that OG gets first pick, right, this game? And look at their bans compared to Liquid bans. Liquid has to ban like 3 of these like game-winning cores, right? Yeah. And OG gets to pick, you know, they ban this AA, so it's like it forces you to ban the AUG.
That's what I was getting into. Like OG has a lot of heroes that Liquid needs to first ban. Meanwhile, it's not the same for the other. So yeah.
Yeah, bans against Liquid seems to be more targeted towards Miracle during the ending phases of the draft, because usually you got to be worried about these random anti-mages coming out or something like that. You're not concerned about that happening in the first phase of the draft, so you're just kind of trying to establish your strategy. So for these 2 teams specifically, as we see a Rubik come out for Liquid, do you think it's more in Liquid's, like the ball is in Liquid's court to kind of figure out what OG is up to, and OG's just like, we're just going to play our own Dota. If you can beat it, then we'll maybe start sweating for game 2, but for right now, you got to prove that you can even take 1 game off of us.
OG right now, they looked at Dota buff. They searched TI9, looked at the heroes from the main event, saw the highest win percentages and pick rates, and clicked the top 3.
These seem like good heroes.
And they're hoping that they're going to work together and win them a game of Dota.
Okay.
And Liquid is doing their own style, right?
Yes.
Like this TA is Weeha's hero ever since he joined Liquid. Even before Liquid, he would play it like on Chaos, he'd play a lot. But they first picked it the entire time last major. They started first picking it last series. I think it's like their comfort way of playing. It gives them map vision, it gives them a, like almost always a 50-50 lane at worst.
Yeah.
Even if it's like horrible, you can go jungle like in the Huskar lane, right? He can just jungle, catch up, and come back in the mid late game.
I think right now OG is thinking of picking Void or not. Like they're taking their time because this pick is going to kind of determine their win condition.
I think they're wondering about, they probably saw the last match, right? Which was a Void versus TA.
Yes.
And they saw how that probably panned out, how the TA just like, you know, 3-shot the Void, you can't get time walk off, doesn't really matter. So they're probably considering if they're actually going to be scared of this TA and they need to pick, you know, more of a safer carry against the TA, like a Spectre.
They're going to go for a hard carry option, but one that obviously is very, very strong against TA. Once the Spectre gets that Radiance online, suddenly TA's Refraction is just completely nullified pretty much.
Also, Spectre's a common Manta buyer. That's one of the things you want on an Agi hero versus TA. It serves 2 functions. You can dodge or move the Meld Strike, and also it burns the Refraction instantly, because you have 3 different heroes.
It is not a carry hero that we see much here at TI9, but it is really amazing against Liquid supports right now. Those 2 squishy, the single target supports, the backline supports. It's really easy for the Spectre to go on Liquid's backline right now.
So the cool thing about Spectre this tournament is people are like doubling down on the late game on it. They go Midas on Spectre as their first item.
But what about the days of the old Vanguard Spectre where you're just like, no, I'll be able to make it to the late game. You're like, listen, either win or lose, this Spectre is going to get super farmed. It's up to you to end the game, and they were going Midas?
Yeah, it's like a lot of carries are going more, you have to get a lot out of the map these days, right? That's why these heroes like Alchemist and Meepo, like for Liquid, right? That's their Meepo. Like these, even Arc Ward, these heroes get more gold out of their gold.
Right.
Alchemist just gets double the gold from last hits. Arcborn gets double the gold from
Midas.
having, well, double Midas, but also in team fights he has 2 sets of items.
True.
Meepo gets 4 times the stats, right? So they have a lot of like functions that, since these teams playing the map so well these days, and they can't really like, you know, force people away from the map, that stuff like that is just really strong.
These heroes from Liquid side, it's really familiar too. I remember it punishing the Raze King draft. These heroes want to play fast, and that's what Spectre is kind of scared about. So laning phase is really important for both sides, because if Liquid gets to win, then they're just going to start snowballing.
OG last ban a Gyro and then pick up a Pugna.
So I think that's going to be a mid Pugna versus TA. The matchup's a lot better now than it has been, and even when the Pugna at 6, the TA has a really hard time laning against him. And they'll probably try to lane this tiny top, I guess. I think the tiny top's a little safer than the Pugna, but they can always swap the lanes around based on this last pick from Liquid.
I was thinking Liquid's gonna pick a hero like Troll to amplify the early mid game, but because of the Pugna pick, it can get kited real rare, so also
So Liquid want to take that Spectre game to the next level, another hero that can quickly amplify his own farm. Meepo, the last pick on Team Liquid.
That pushes TA to safe lane, I guess?
Yes.
It's a very early fast tempo. Spectre's not going to have a lot of room to breathe. It's pretty good late game, so yeah, it looks like a really good last pick Meepo.
So then does this change the side lane Liquid situation for OG? Like, are you going to move the Tiny around or the Elder Titan around elsewhere? Because you still got a Spectre that you got to babysit.
Probably not. The thing that's kind of scary for Liquid is OG has an ET, right? And ET is so good against Meepo.
Yes.
You get Astro Hero damage from each Meepo. You get the aura on all the Meepos. You can stomp all the Meepos. They're always going to be clumped. You're always getting these big team fights. So that's the one big question I have about this Meepo pick.
And Elder Titan is a hero that we've been seeing a lot of strength of just in the laning phase. Even before the multiple Meepos come online or something like that, he's going to be getting a ton of damage from that Astral Spirit.
Yeah, but individually you're right, but I think the way these heroes work together right now, Liquid's heroes, they all complement each other in the early mid game. So it's gonna be pretty hard if they win the if OG loses the lanes. The lanes are really important this game.
All right then, let's hear some of the justification from Team Liquid's coach, Roman.
All right, Roman, you are now drafting in a grand final. Curious from your perspective, is it any different, your approach to the draft, now that you know that you've got 5 games instead of 3, or is the preparation the same?
It's slightly different simply because you have, let me put it this way, you can drop 1 game. Basically, it's a, how to put it? You get more time to play, basically.
How do you feel about your draft right now?
I think we have a very comfort draft this time. We played a very similar draft before in this tournament, so I feel good.
All right, well, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, back to you guys as we get this first game going.
Thank you very much, Casey, and welcome everyone to the 2019 Grand Finals, a best of 5 between Team Liquid and OG. I'm Odie Pixel here with Fold. We've just seen the draft. It's all very exciting, right? We have Liquid, they raise up the TA, then out comes the Pugna, and then they say, well, we're going to switch it around. We're going to bring out the Meepo, but, and there's a big but, right, Fogs? There's something kind of good on OG's side.
There is a good Elder Titan pick for that Meepo. This should be a really interesting one. We look at OG, like you said, this is what happens when we get to the later stages, and of course, in the finals of TI. It's all about counter picks and just mind games. Like you said, they just swap the lanes around immediately just from the picks. And even though you don't see too often that these swaps happen, it's gonna be those mind games. Because immediately, look who's actually playing the, Meepo, and look at his items. Those aren't mid items on our Meepo. Those are side lane item Meepos. So that's already a big change up there. Yes. They're going to be seeing the player. They're going to be Weehaws playing Meepo. Of course it's going to be mid. So now we're going to see if they can actually scout the lane. Weehaws just going to hide. He has to hide this to make sure that OG does get caught off guard on it.
And talk to me about this then. The Elder Titan, a hero that we've seen a lot of drafts where, for other reasons, there could have been the reason to pick the Meepo, but it hasn't come out. What makes this hero so scary for the Meepos out there?
A lot of the times, of course, you get that big amount of damage that can work for Astro, but it's a 5 position. I think the bigger thing as a 5 position versus that Meepo is you're amplifying everybody else versus him, and you're stunning multiple Meepos. Sure, he's not going to be stacking all 5 of them all the time, or all 3 or 4 of them at the same time, all 3 of them, whatever, in those situations when he does have them, but it's the likeliness that you're getting multiple Meepos stomped is very, very high.
We're going to see both teams come out to try and get a look at getting the the advantage in the runes, and it will be Liquid able to take 3 bounty runes to start the game off.
Lanes are identified immediately. OG is going to play super aggressive down bottom. They know it's a Meepo in the side lane. They're just going to constantly be running at him, and now it's going to be Miracle in that matchup mid versus a Tiny.
Yeah, interesting to see, especially after, as the panel were mentioning earlier, how Weeha and Miracle were sort of juggled around back in the day on Balkan Bears between the mid lane, and now here on the same team, Miracle says it's my turn to take myself back to mid.
I'm really curious
to the side lane
to see how the side lane Meepo is going to do. We pretty much strictly see this hero placed in the mid lane because you need experience. You want to be getting that solo experience for yourself, being able to always... Oh, Zeke actually going to get a tops back. Tops, and he actually has the tree grab as well as the avalanche, but put some pressure on. But yeah, this Meepo is going to be splitting experience with the Chen. So I think we're going to see Kuroki, in particular, moving away from the lane a lot as the Chen. You have to give Meepo levels.
Now looking at the other side lane up top, mind control tied, backed up by GH against No-Tail and Ana. Is this is a lane where Ana's going to be able to get some space to farm, or can Liquid really amp up the pressure on a Spectre early on?
I think Ana's going to be able to farm up here just fine. They could set up some kills onto No-Tail, but onto Ana, I don't think you can kill a Spectre with a Rubik and a Tidehunter. You can prevent some farm though, right? This is the damage reduction lane. Fade Bolt as well as Anchor Smash will be a little annoying, but this is what Titan does. This is why he's picked so often.
He runs the heroes down.
Yeah, he just secures the lane pretty nicely for
refreshing the spirit here, nearly getting GH. Single-handedly just beating these two far away from Ana, so Ana's got all the space in the world.
Yeah.
Let's have a look on the mid lane. CS 7 for 3, Thompson at the moment against the 4 for 0. I guess what expected, Tiny's going to have this advantage?
Yeah, would definitely think so. It's also very easy to always play aggressive as the Tiny too, because your Avalanche removes 6 of those instances of refraction whenever he does get the levels up on Miracle. Just got to make sure you don't need too many side blades this Thompson, because you are very low armor, of course.
Again, I mean, No-Tail. He's going to take quite a bit of damage in response this time with the guts to the Anchor Smash. Trying to run away with the tanker. He's going to look for the neutral creep tonight. Not going to get it. GH able to get that first blood, taking down No-Tail. As No-Tail, for the most part, still able to do his job with regards to pushing them away from Ana, but obviously wants to make sure that he doesn't feed himself away too many times. Otherwise, that is when you are going to see that dual lane up top, get the levels, and then have the better chance of forcing that Spectre out of the lane.
It's his job, though. I think a death like that for No-Tail, it's forgivable. Sure, you don't want it to happen, but he zoned them. Like you were saying, Ana's able to get all the last hits. He's 11-1 when it's only 7-2 Tidehunter. So it's all about the space. And we look at OG's draft. They're about the late game. You look at Liquid's draft, they're very early game centric. They want to be snowballing the game, getting Bros control, and just ending the game before it gets too late on. Because OG's, if it gets to the late game, you can assume that they're going to be able to take it very easily with that Spectre.
Yeah, when OG's having such a good time in some of these matchups, they're going to be very happy. The mid lane continuing to be very much in Thompson's favor. 15 for 8 against the 9 for 0. Miracle is going to look to fight back. Thompson getting rather low. Miracle looking for the angle. He does find the angle, but it isn't quite enough damage. Thompson will be able to walk away.
He's going to have to TP to base, though. That's pretty huge there. Miracle, after having a pretty rough start in the laning phase, 8 denies on the Tiny, pushes him out. Thompson getting a bit too over-aggressive there. So we see Weeha is going to be hitting this level 3, level 4. Kuroki has absolutely been moving away from the lane a lot to ensure that the Meepo gets that extra experience. And he's grabbing his creeps. He's actually grabbing the Ogre Frostmates this time just for the armor. 15 armor on Meepo to soak some of that bullying that comes out from Seb as well as Jerax. But they're glyphing the wave, and they want to continue this pressure.
Farm between Seb and Wee, very even at the moment. So they're both getting something good out of this lane. Still the best position on the map happens to be Ana's up top. The Spectre leading the way in CS. The duo lane was not able to do enough to break past No-Tail and slow Ana's early game down.
Thompson will not get the rune, but the rune will spawn bottom, and Jerax is already there waiting for it. So yeah, I mean, we hop down bottom. He's just gonna farm really well, actually, even though the Enchantress tends to be able to bully most heroes. With the Ransack in combination with this armor, like his main Meepo is sitting at like 17 armor when he's away from the tower, of course. So how do you harass 17 armor when he's also healing off hitting creeps? So definitely an interesting approach coming out here from Liquid.
Thompson back in the lane, definitely with that a good bit of time the Miracle got with Thompson having to head back to base. The even trader farm is there, and of course Miracle as the TA will be able to turn towards the jungle caps, ancient caps, and get those sort of guaranteed item timings unless OG's able to really invade Liquid's half of the map and get in his face.
Bounty runes in 10. Team's preparing for those. Thompson making his way down bottom to fill up his bottle as well.
The grab bag is always on the cliff.
He doesn't have a TP.
He doesn't have a TP, no tail.
He's got to watch the runes get taken right in front of him.
Oh, he's going to be stuck up here for a little bit of time. His only way down, really, a TP delivery. And it's not going to come for a while.
No,
he has some on the courier, but of course Thompson's got to take priority.
Now they're going to shift Jerax up top. He actually was jungling as the Pugna when he got the Arcane Rune, so level 3, pretty decent levels on this Pugna to come up top and try to help Ana a little bit. And Ana already has Soul Ring, so he's got his farming item already finished up on the Spectre. But they will be able to pressure him a little bit now as GH, though, steps up a bit too far.
Get the dagger in with Jerax moving forward. GH brought down low. Jerax needs one more blast to connect, and there it is. GH is brought out. As soon as No-Tail's out of action on that top lane and on the cliff, they bring Jerax in and are able to make sure that that lane really does continue to go the favor of OG. And the time and space is created for the courier to get out, get No-Tail his TP, so he's back in action.
And he's going to double stack. So he got some time wasted for himself on that Elder Titan, but gets 2 stacks up for his team to be able to farm up. And he's going to get that extra gold as well from that stack.
Yeah, and OG just really made the best out of what could have been a bit of an awkward situation.
Yep.
With OG potentially having Ana be supportless on that lane for a minute. A group back up, OG making full efficiency of the shrine. And that bottom lane, Weeha.
It's the most important one to look at.
He's getting the farm. He's able to turn into the jungle a little bit as well. In fact, with the poofs, he's keeping Seb low. Seb, he's going to be able to run away with that heal, but has to be careful as that magical poof gets leveled up.
He's committing forward again, actually, onto Seb. Fakes out those poofs. Seb will be forced to pop one of the Fairy Fires just in case. Weeha, this is, I mean, it's a really interesting approach, right? I mean, Kuroki is literally just giving this Meepo pretty much full experience down bottom, and it's giving him good opportunities to pressure Seb. Pressure an Enchantress, which you usually do not see.
I mean, they might see if they can get the setup again as Seb gets blocked in here. Will steal the Creeper Kuroki, but the control's there from Weeha. Fairy Fire pops Seb. He's going to have to heal back up in a second. So once more, will be able to keep himself out of vision behind the tree. Pop the heal, Weeha's going to try. Now he's going to hold it off. He knows he's not got the damage to do so. Back up top, Liquid getting in close and personal with No-Tail.
I wonder if that was a bit of a misclick bottom, right? Kuroki actually divide favored the Meepo that was right next to him. Back to... I think he was trying to pull... I don't know. It looked like he was trying to pull GH or somebody else bottom to go for the Enchantress, but he ended up pulling the Meepo that was right next to him. So a little bit of wasted time there for the divine favor on that first gank, but yeah, they do get No-Tail up top.
Still overall a very close laning phase. A 1k advantage at the moment for Liquid, just 2 for 1. As there's no one really getting heavily zoned out of their lane. All the cores finding farm in this early game.
Yeah, I guess my control may be the slight one, but he's just right behind Seb anyway. He took barely any advantage for the Enchantress. But now Seb, he's trying to get it. Get some pressure on.
Making sure that Weeha cannot sort of be left to his own devices inside of the jungle.
It's a neat way of like approaching the dynamic, right? They're like, okay, Enchantress is gonna suffer a little bit here, but then Jerax, you're actually the one that can pressure towers. So now we have a Pugna that's farming bottom and taking the tier 1 as a support.
Thompson was able to get in and grab the regen room, but Miracle, he's got backup. GH is there. Thompson, he cannot escape these twos. GH is able to block him off. He may have got the rune, but it will cost him his life. There's no further backup from OG prepared for that contest of the rune that Liquid knew was absolutely going to happen. Thompson was going to go hunting for that 8-minute rune every time.
And they actually like double protected the mid lane too with sentries just to be able to watch out for their side traps from the TA, but not up toward the rune. And those are the ones that are really going to punish the movements when you aren't able to have those sentries placed down pretty much everywhere.
Correct. He's ready to smash some fools with the double Hellbears, taking them up towards the top, setups down to mind control, instantly cracking shells off the sleep, but it doesn't matter, the damage output from Thompson will take mind control out of the lane. Successful rotation from Thompson, we'll see if he can make anything more happen with this. Kuro still around in the neighborhood, Thompson. Get his hands on GH, here's another combo, it's another kill. Thompson, with these moves that he's so well known for, he knows exactly when he can leave that mid lane, head elsewhere, and make so much happen in favor of OG as he'll slowly chase down Kuro. Seb will be there to steal the kill, but Thompson's pressure and movements at 9 minutes in, getting 3 kills for OG.
And he kills the Chen creeps as well, and he keeps the regen on, so he can go make another move. We've seen Thompson do this a lot of times.
Thompson.
Yep, when he plays the Tiny, he just gets super active. Look at Seb as well. They know that they just need to get active around the map and then just give space to Spectre.
He's trying to play the number game here, seeing if he has the damage output to bring down Jerax, but in fact it's Jerax that brings Weeha At least one of the Meepos incredibly low. We'll be able to get into the trees and poof back to safety, back towards mid. Thompson starting to dive in towards Miracle. He has the meld, no detection on the front lines from OG. So Miracle will be able to back away. Also GH and Kuro by his side in case the dive came in, but OG they'll hold off. Look for the 10-minute rune. Thompson's going to be able to grab it again. Double damage this time.
Oh my god.
You've got to watch out for the plays he's looking to make.
You can't let him get all these power runes. We saw what he's been able to do in the group stages when he just starts taking over runes, and it's starting to happen. Sure, Liquid, they're still looking good with their farm, but they want to be more ahead. They're all about that early game-centric draft, and Thompson's starting to move around.
There's nothing more terrifying than a Thompson Tiny coming to look for a high five. GH has to run. It's going to come over, and Thompson knows that he has dove as far as he can, or has he? Still looking at an opportunity to get in on GH as he'll look to cut down the trees. He's going to find the avalanche. Thompson, he persists. He continues the chase. He sees the opportunity, and he's just getting so much done. This Tiny just can't stop killing people.
And he's going mid again, and they're already pressuring the tower with the siege creep here, while Ana just continues to farm up top. Ana does not have, he does actually have mana for the haunt if he does use the soul ring.
The Ravage in mid. Mind Control's going to come in with a quick setup onto Jax. A meld hit from Miracle will do the job. Now they look for the body blocks onto Seb. Smash there from the Hellbear. Liquid will punish OG. Getting themselves those 2 kills as the rest of OG sort of try and follow in the footsteps of Thompson with their aggression. Doesn't work out as well for those two.
They bring a lot of attention, though. Weeha's still able to farm the jungle for the side of Liquid, but a lot of attention's been brought onto that mid tower, and it's pretty much dead. It's down to 150 HP. But OG losing a bit more than they probably wanted to there as Mind Control getting that nice Ravage. But Ana, that's the big one to look at, right? He's gotten the Soul Ring. He's now got the Midas finished up as well.
Low.
He is low, though. Weeha might actually be able to set up for this here.
Even with the one charge, he won't have enough for a horn or any way to escape as we are from the trees. He's got the catch. Ana, has he got the movement speed? He has, in fact. He's going to be able to separate himself. They're trying to go for it, but they just don't have enough duration on that lockdown. He'll be able to walk away from what looked like potentially a guaranteed kill.
And that would have been such a clutch one, too, right? It was right when the Midas was coming out. Thompson getting a bit deep here, getting surrounded. Has the phase boots when lace, but will be slowed up.
Yeah, Miracle with the wrap round. Thompson, his reign on Liquid's half of the map finally put to an end.
They are literally just running around trying to set up kills and just make space for the Spectre, but now Seb also a bit far up, and he's getting surrounded.
Trying to keep this aggression up. Seb just gets burst down by the heavy damage output of Liquid's heroes. He cannot continue to play this aggressive, overestimating his safety with that heal, but it doesn't matter if there's the burst online, and at this point, 12 minutes in, with Liquid having the numbers, they can easily take the edge out of the game and put pressure onto the tier 1 tower. We'll see a TP in from Thompson. He's ready to try and help hold. A stop setup onto GH will be there, but still with the stolen avalanche, he'll keep Thompson and No-Tail at bay.
Big 2 moves there by Liquid. This is how they want to play. They want to be setting the tempo, setting the pace with their draft, getting that big early advantage, so then they can go into the Roche pit and force OG to fight them when they have this late game type of draft with the Spectre. OG doubling down to make sure they protect their mid tower too. Just all about this map control and keeping themselves farmed up. It's really going to be that name of the game. Is OG's going to try to farm, gank as well, and just let the Spectre get that late game insurance. Seb actually had a Midas queued up as well, and he switched. He's starting to realize it's not just like the magical damage that was hurting or anything, it's the physical burst from all the armor reduction. That meld plus the gush, it's too much for him to handle. He's going Ghost Scepter first time. So really needing and really wanting to emphasize that he can actually survive a single combo, but there's still a lot of magic damage also on Liquid.
I mean, pretty much what saves him from every hero apart from the Meepo. Yeah, the Weeha Meepo is still going to be a big threat for Seb, but even with it, like that was going to be the case anyway, right? Yeah. It's not like it makes this situation worse. If he was caught out by the Meepo now, he'd probably die anyway. So having that Ghost Scepter against the other heroes on Liquid's lineup will certainly give him a chance to get the heal off, walk away, and buy time for the rest of OG to come in and keep the fight going.
Miracle, level 12. This is a very high level TA with a lot of farm right now, almost at the top of the net worth in the game. And yet level 12 in comparison to Thompson, who has been running around, as you expect he will be starting to get behind the level.
See if he's got the duration of control with these roots. One more will be out, but there's the backup. No-Tail, he's able to set up a beautiful sleep onto the 3 of them. Jax and Thompson here as well. They'll look to burst him. He cannot escape with the avalanche from Thompson. He's held down. The rest of Liquid trying to abuse the fact that Seb's alone, but this time Seb will be able to walk away. The most they'll get out of it is that mid-tier 1 tower as Miracle keeps pushing on.
And there's one of the examples why ET can be so good versus Meepos. You're always going to be getting some situations where you get multi-heroes, multi-Meepo stomps and setting up for a counter gank. And even Jerax down bottom, Ana was low. They don't want Ana to go back to base. Jerax actually drains pretty much all of his health pool with the life drain to heal up Ana so he can keep that map presence.
I mean, you can definitely feel that timer. Ana, Midas, 1,700 gold on his way towards the Relic and Radiance. They've got to keep the pressure on, and they have now got that Desolator done on Miracle. We've seen already the physical damage output they can offer, and here we have it again. Goodbye, Seb. Back to the base with you, as Liquid can now make these moves, take these tier 1s, and even start to think about going for tier 2s very early on with this Chen, Deso, TA combination.
Even go for sneaking a Roche. They could even just send the Chen creeps with the TA, easy Roshan, or the same thing with the Meepo. They have a lot of different options that Liquid can do in order to just sneak these very strong objectives for them that they need in this game. They want to keep the snowball going. 3K advantage, very good for Liquid right now, but they got to keep it up. They don't want to slow down in this game at all. Do not let OG back up and farm.
This is their window. This time before the Radiance, they have to take as much as they can from the map.
Seb turning up top, trying to get that creep aggro off the tower.
Also going to see Notel start to head over. We'll get a few wards down for the vision, and back in mid, Thompson was pushing out the wave. Weeha was ready to make the jump.
Thompson.
Can he get himself out? The avalanche, buying him time to get into the trees. The next route will miss, but that one will connect as Weeha. Has he got the damage? He
sure does.
Weeha now standing there, the kills, and again, top lane Seb. He just gets run down by this combination of the Tide and the TA. Notel's disabled as they'll pick him up, toss him down. Miracle's just starting to walk around with the group, get these kills after kills. They really are playing the exact pace they need to, Liquid, as they now stand at a 4K gold lead, and they're getting these early objectives.
And they're running directly to the pit. They just got all these kills on the map. They know everyone's going to be respawning, but they should be able to kill this way too fast for the side of OG to respawn, but they are going to be respawning. Let's see if they can actually make it there, as also a full Ethereal Blade now finished up for the Meepo of
Now we're going to see, when Weeha tries to go for these kills, he's going to get them every time. There's not going to be that sort of delay, that requirement for him to hit every net. They're going to get destroyed in the first combo that the Meepo comes out with.
This is exactly how they needed to play the draft so far, and they've gotten away with that. They just need to keep that advantage pushing. Ana, about 200 gold from the Relic.
It's closing.
Still a ways
the
away
timer
from
is
Radiance.
still ticking.
Yep.
It's mid lane. Thompson jumped upon. Jerax is there. Can offer the heal to keep him safe, as well as Notel throwing out a stop. Holds Liquid back. Liquid, they're not ones to stop the pressure they're putting on. They'll stand tall here as they push on towards this tier 2 tower.
And I love how they can do this. They send Meepo bottom, they send Weeha down there. He can set up to defend the tower, and he can just poof back in. Or even if they send another hero bottom, they can Divine Favor and bring that hero also back.
You've got to watch for mind control. That Blink and Ravage available. He's looking for an opportunity to set something up. Anytime he feels that he can get in with a Ravage, he'll go for it. In fact, they're going to try and fight with the Haunt here. Straight away, Ana comes into the mid, mind control. He has the Ravage ready. The Talons are all 5 of them, and now they can just run OG's hero down one by one. Thompson tries to turn with the avalanche, but the mech is popped. Ana and Thompson are dead. They do lose Miracle for this effort, as well as Weeha's Aegis getting taken the once. See if they can go for it a second time. No, he had the main Meepo out in the jungle, so he's easily safe and back out off the back of the respawn. A 2 for 2, well, a 2 for 1.5 with Aegis being burnt.
5-man Ravage, though, coming in. I don't think he didn't even get the blink off. He just walked in and
just walked in.
Every single one.
It was a bit of an awkward start there, really, from OG. They were going in with this Haunt. Ana ends up being on the front lines. And that really was, I think, the easiest Ravage the mind controls had to pop.
I think they underestimated how tanky the side of Liquid really is when they have this mech finished up, as well as a Hand of God up from Kuroki. We see they go in with the Haunt, but everything just gets popped pretty much right away after that Ravage, and they're all full health. I think the fight there for OG, what they're trying to do is they don't have the Radiance ready, but if they're able to do decent in that fight, and if Ana is able to actually survive the fight, he gets full Radiance and the fight explodes.
And we saw a bit more context, right? He was trying to get himself away from Weeha down bottom. So he was sort of forced to make the Haunt play. Whoever he jumps on in the mid lane, that sort of fight's going to happen. So Ana was sort of just stuck in a very hard place in terms of the moves that he can make.
Absolutely. And we see the wards by Liquid. This is just an emphasis of how fast they want to be playing in this game. They put 3 wards watching behind this tier 2 mid. They want to really press the issue and try to close the game out with this advantage. If they can keep this advantage going, it's going to be great for them.
Everything so far on the checklist of what Liquid needs to do has been ticked. 13-7, 6K lead, both Weeha and Miracle hitting those timings. They have the farm, 10k advantage.
And you see them immediately group up, go back to the mid lane. Even if they don't have Ravage just yet, they're still just trying to set up and push the base down, push as hard as they can, take all the objectives, close the map from OG. As you see Meepo, Weeha, he's constantly on the prowl, looking for Ana, looking for the Spectre in the side lanes.
See Ana, he knows he's got to be careful, showing he's so close to having the Radiance. And at a time where Haunt is about to be back online, he's got to try and get it done, but a beautiful net into the trees there is going to hold him back, cancel the TP, should still have the chance of running away with the dagger. I mean, I said that Weeha's continuing to another route. Weeha, he's hitting them every single time. He's held him down. The dagger is there, but there's the E-Blade. Weeha continues to play around with Ana, and they'll drag him back. GH is there with a follow-up. A beautiful play from Weeha. This is why this man's Meepo is absolutely terrifying. Yeah, thanks, Ana. I mean, I could have gone with absolutely perfect as well.
You could have gone
right.
Oh, that was good.
I mean, he hit them every single time, blind into the trees. That's a dead Ana. And at the most important time, he was so close to his Radiance. He had the Horn available, but he's out the game again. Liquid continuing to do everything right.
Yep. This Meepo pick is really seeming to be amazing for them as it just puts too much pressure on the map. They're able to push as a group unit, get these towers down, but also the Meepo can address the split push, address the late game that OG's trying to take it to. He can constantly pick up those sides. 14-7, 8k lead, 6k experience advantage as well. And immediately, they're knocking on the front door.
This is the scary bit for OG as they sort of ask themselves, are they going to go high ground? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Deso, BKB, no reason for Liquid to start to slow down at this point. OG will turn up in their numbers.
Radiance is done. OG might look to go for taking the fight. So the backline can be very squishy versus Radiance, but they have mech. They have level 2 Hand of God for Kuroki as well. And so a lot of heal can come in.
This is the point where even though they have that 8k lead, you got to be careful. You lose one fight whilst ahead against the Spectre and his Radiance, that's when the comeback can begin.
Absolutely. But they do have BKB on Miracle. They have a lot of these big items that allows them to go for aggressive plays.
Ghost Scepter's going to buy him a little bit of time. The stolen dagger for GH is going to get choked down upon him. GH trying to offer him the heals. No tell with the stomp from the high ground. Is able to disable Miracle's TA. Make sure that he cannot continue to commit onto Seb, and Seb will be kept safe. As Liquid still continue to sort of dance around the outskirts of OG, wait to see an opportunity to go in, but they know they've got to be careful. And OG, they'll smoke up. They themselves know they can get something good going with that Spectre Haunt. The smoke was spotted out by the warding. So they know that OG's up to something, Liquid, and they're trying to sort of bait at the moment. Have Miracle on the front, see who reveals themselves. For now, it's just Seb.
Both sides look like they're kind of baiting, right? Seb's like, come at me. My team's on the right, you know this, but I know your team's on the left. So both teams kind of playing with each other there. Popping the south now, trying to force Miracle to go in further.
Then another meld hit off him. Whoa. Seb's got to be careful. He's got the Ghost Scepter, but Mind Control jumps in Gush. Used to help slow Seb down. Still needs that second meld hit again to save Jerax with the Decrepify. Stops Miracle from being able to get another touch in onto Seb. Seb will be fine. Thompson on the high ground with that Invis rune, may be able to set up a toss back. Miracle is going to receive a bit of damage from the Avalanche. Trying to bait out a BKB potentially, but Miracle keeps his cool. Relies on the refraction alone.
Still very tanky. 1680 HP. Thompson looking to want to go back in though. He has the blink available.
Seb a little low, but the Nature's Attendants will make quick work of getting him back up to full HP. And OG, they are certainly starting to push Liquid back off their half of the map. Thompson's going to look for the quick combo on GH, but a Glimmer Cape's available. They still have the vision with the sentry down for a toss. GH, he's able to back off and get away. The Haunt now being used. They want to try and utilize this Radiance to get the kills. They'll get the support of GH. Can they get any of the bigger cores? It doesn't look like it for now. The rest of Liquid able to safely get out of there. And now Liquid, they can work with in mind that there's no Haunt Radiance. It was used only for GH. This is a good window where Liquid can get back to doing what they just were, especially with the Blink Dagger being finished on Miracle.
OG definitely wanted to get more out of that one there, but Liquid too quick to disengage. That Glimmer, just every little thing buying some time for them to get out before that Spectre Haunt is able to catch more in the back lines.
I mean, and you could see that was exactly how Liquid was playing there. That whole sort of movement and sort of hesitating to go in. They were just waiting for that Haunt. OG, they finally felt forced to try and make something happen with it, and it wasn't good enough. Liquid still able to keep this stronghold.
Both teams were definitely toying with each other a little bit there on the initiation. Both teams had good vision of each other. They both were aware of
This steep ward here. It's going to have eyes on Thompson. Quick blink from Thompson out before the Gush connects. Seb's instantly out of this top area of the map.
Thompson also having a haste rune. This could be a really big one for the next upcoming fights, as he can dance in and out of the fights. Much easier to get multiple combos. Liquid all joining in together in the area up top. They have a Silver Edge also finished on the Meepo too. So Silver Edge in this game, I know we've seen a lot of Meepos just pick up Silver Edge, but in this game, he's versus the Spectre, he's versus an Enchantress. It's a really good Silver Edge game.
Especially this, but you know, it still takes a little bit of time, right, to get that first hit on the edge. But when you do, she will be very, very easy to kill. I mean, item-wise, what's Seb walking around with at the moment? Just the Ogre Club, Ghost Scepter, and the Midas. Playing for that late game, playing for the towards the idea that OG can continue to hold and make sure that Liquid don't take any of the tier 3s. And, you know, despite that early advantage that they are yet to be able to break the base of OG. OG, even with not necessarily the biggest haunt in the world, it's slowing down Liquid that little bit. That lead that they've grown has started to sort of stagnate and to stay at that same bar. If OG can take a great fight around the haunt, the turnaround could start to come in. Seb,
oh, for sure.
Up
Seb,
to the high ground. They're getting the down. Jump forward from Miracle. They're going to offer the stomp. It will slow down Miracle's damage output and giving Seb the time to walk out. Ghost Scepter pops as well as the heals. Liquid try and stay on top of the edge. There's the lockdown. Weehar's in with the net. They'll finally kill Seb off. Question is, how much can they do with this bit of time? No Enchantress. Ana pushed the bottom lane out all the way around. They can go for the tier 1 tower, but they'll struggle to go for more whilst that creep momentum has been dealt with by Ana's Spectre.
I feel like we've seen a lot of these cat-mouse games a lot here at this Internationals. When you have this late-game lineup that doesn't really have the best team fight, you're facing versus a lineup that has an immense amount of team fight, you kind of just have to dance around the map and try to take your best bets and just push, split push and catch waves and just delay the game. That's what OG's name of the game is for this one. Liquid's trying their best not to allow that to happen, and they have good heroes for it, as we were mentioning. They even have an Illusion Rune now, too, for the Meepo, so he's going to push out the bottom wave, they're going to push in the mid wave, too, and then pretty much everything is pushed in so they can go for this opportunity of that Roche.
Now another Roche. Another Aegis. Of course, this time the cheese on top as a bit of a bonus for Liquid.
Yep.
And with the speed that they do it, even with OGs, there's some semi-decent ways to contest Roche. They just cannot set up in time. Even with the sort of the ET control around the pit, the haunt to get in, they're still not quite ready to make those sort of aggressive plays, OG. They have to continue to wait for Liquid to come to them and for Liquid to mess up.
The scary thing is, though, it's, you know, we're saying the late game insurance always about the Spectre, but everybody else on the side of OG, they're really falling off. And it's a Spectre, sure, who's amazing in the game, but versus a TA and a Meepo, these two might
hard.
be enough. It probably are enough to be able to just crush a Spectre in these fights.
Especially with the Silver Edge build, as you mentioned. They have the tools. It's not an easy situation at all for OG to get themselves out of. There's Ravage. Control, but the Ravage is going to buy time for the rest of the team to come over. First net won't quite connect onto Ana as he's forced back to safety. They'll still continue to try and chase on. Ana's into the trees this time. He will be able to TP out. We are not quite in range. Continue to lock him down. Thompson with a poke from the back, making sure that Liquid cannot chase down any of the remaining members of OG. He'll stay hidden in the trees. GH.
It looks like Thompson's almost playing like Tinker or something in this way. Like, right, last like 6 minutes or so, I feel like I've just seen Thompson in the tree lines, cutting creep waves to try to delay the push that's going to be coming out from Liquid inevitably.
The items for Ana are continuing to roll out. Full Manta. As usually, the items for everyone else still have ground to a bit of a halt on OG. Setups there onto one of the Meepos. They're going to drop the ult down, but already Miracle's on the backline. He's dead. He's dead. He pauses the BKB. It doesn't matter. They're able to beat him down, and now they look towards We Are. Silver's up with the impetus. It follows up. Still, he has enough HP to walk. The torch steps in. He's straight on top of Weeha. Weeha's dead the once. Can they do it again? No doubt. He's got the spirit out. Backing off, Weeha again, he had the main Meepo up onto the safe area of the high ground. Thompson, he's not stopping though. They're holding back a little bit with the E-Blade. Can they get this kill? Weeha again, boosts off to the side, but he's left one up in the high ground. Is there any disable? There is not. He's able to jump back down, get himself away. OG continue to chase, but these roots, these nets, they're holding OG back. Thompson in again with the blink. He needs help. Weeha, is he going to get it? The stomps down onto the entire army of Meepos. Hand of God's Pond. Weeha's trying to turn. Miracle is killed on Jarek. The buyback from Miracle. They're turning it around. Liquid. They'll get Thompson and Jarek. Seb with no doubt. They're going to try and run. Ana, he's in with the horn, chasing down Weeha. He can surely finish this kill off. Weeha so low. The Glimmer give it a line. Finally, Ana gets Weeha. Liquid back to looking to continue the cleanup. They'll chase Seb. Seb's heals will not be strong enough. Seb will fall. There's no tell. TP out in the trees gets him away. Anna's still in the neighborhood, but he will manage to make him his way out of there. They get the kill on Weeha. They force out a buyback from Miracle, but still it cost them a lot, and they're diving deep, OG.
You see how much they want to go for those dive plays, though. They're like, Ana is getting kills, Ana is being enabled, Ana, right? For OG, that's all they're thinking about, is just making this man shine. And they're starting to. He's almost creeping toward the #1 net worth as a Spectre. That was a pretty big chase out there, being able to slow down Liquid's Aegis and Cheese push. That was Miracle dying so fast in the fight. Now he has Cheese, but he died so quickly in that last.
He went straight in, felt confident with the BKB. But I believe they were able to just get enough burst out before he actually popped the BKB. He died so quickly after. I mean, this was a great sort of bring back from Liquid. This fight could have certainly gone a whole lot worse for Liquid, but they were able to draw OG so far and so deep that a buyback from Miracle was able to be there in time to allow them to get some kills in return. And he nearly sort of survives this.
It was all of these, it was every little thing inside of that instance too. It was the Hand of God, I believe it was the mech as well, and then he also E-blades the Meepo that was getting focused. So they had to keep switching targets between which Meepo they wanted to actually focus down in there. So it buys a lot of time, but that is a Miracle buyback that is forced. So he has to watch out in these next situations, not to get caught out, because a TA that goes down for 100+ seconds in these next few moments could be devastating.
He's found himself something juicy. Thompson out in the jungle, does have a blink. He's going to try and get out, going for the TP. GH, will he find him in time? He will. GH in with the grab as Thompson is held back away from being able to TP back to the safety of his base. Dead for 50 seconds. No buyback as well on Thompson. So if Liquid can get the push back together, the base could be in trouble. You have to watch out for any sort of opportunity that Liquid is able to push high ground, because with this TA and Meepo, they make very quick work of the structures.
And Ravage is back online. That was the other important thing too, right? OG, they knew Ravage was on cooldown, so they knew they could chase all the way to the base of Liquid. But now Ravage is back. That's Liquid's timing with this Cheese. Just make sure that Miracle gets his BKB off and just protect him. So that TA cannot die in these next few moments.
It just feels, you know, the whole team of OG just sort of standing on Anna's shoulders. He's carried them before. This game is going to be quite a heavy one, but he has got the farm. The problem is that the farm fatigue Liquid is so well dispersed across all their carries. They're all a threat for every single member of OG.
And Thompson's been the punching bag this game. His net worth, he's probably going to get surpassed by Jerax at some point in this game, but Jerax is pretty farmed in this one also for a Pugna. But yeah, like you said, it's mostly on Ana's shoulders right now for the side of OG, as he's got a fair bit of money on this Spectre. Pretty much having the Heart finished up. He's been deciding which one he wants to do. He's switched between Diffusal and Heart 3 or 4 times now. Now he's queued up the Diffusal. Looks like if with the Diffusal, he can kill those backline heroes so easily.
He just feels like he has to do everything, right?
Yeah.
He has to survive. He has to do the damage. Sometimes the best defense is an offense. That's why we're seeing him queue that Diffusal blade up potentially instead of the Heart. We'll see what he does invest into, and he's going to buy it up. Diffusal will be there for the next fight, so if they can get in with the perfect haunt timing, you could start to see a fight where OG are able to sort of pick apart the backliners and Ana can move from kill to kill.
Even pick up the backline, but also look for Mind Control. Mind Control, 700 mana on Tidehunter. Your Ravage, your spells cost a lot of mana.
Jump forward. They've got the silence there for physical burst. Seb steps too far forward.
50 seconds, no edge. Might try to press their issue up onto that high ground here with that time.
You see every time, no tail. Just making sure the Spirit is sort of out in between the teams. So anytime that Liquid do get a kill like this, they cannot just easily collapse onto the remaining members of OG.
His job is, keep your Spirit for that natural order on top of pretty much everybody so that Ana can do all that extra damage. Keeps throwing it out. And just continue to try to delay. Seb, gonna be respawning in about 15 seconds. But during all this, see Weeha. He's not keeping all his meatballs here, obviously.
No,
he's farming all over the place.
The efficiency for Liquid to sort of utilize the map whilst OG is pushed in is absolutely perfect with this Meepo. He can get so much out of being everywhere. Being with the push, being in the jungle, being in the lane. And we are absolutely one of the best in the game at doing so with this hero.
Yeah, and they can even, like we were talking about before too, it's not just the Meepo that can go around everywhere, because they have a Chen, they have Divine Favor, so if they want to send another hero even, they can always be pulling people across the map with that Rapture ability of the Divine Favor. As you see the Meepo top, Silver Edged, Weehaw trying to find a frag as he knows
Insane.
OG is going to be setting up on the sides. The smoke comes out. Thompson gets broken right away. He knows. He's pinging it.
At the same time, that will give the info to Liquid that OG are split up. They know that they're not all towards the mid lane. So if the rest of the team can get some sort of a jump, but it's hard, especially Ana. This is really, I guess, the sort of the last hero you want to tackle. Miracle gonna head over to try and go for the bounty room. We'll actually be able to grab it, despite the three of them being here, but they'll look to make him pay. They'll lead in, BKB's popped by Miracle. Ana will continue to chase with the horn.
He's following him.
He's staying on top of him, making sure that any sort of escape is hard. Mind Control's gonna come in the back. He's looking to try and draw the attention of the rest of OG. There's the Ravage pod, and now the turnaround comes into play. Liquid, they'll surround Ana. He dove too far. The Spectre's dead. He's got buyback, but of course with the horn already used, there's no way for him to get back into the fight. So Ana has to sit on the sidelines and just watch as the rest of OG gets bullied heavily by Liquid. The traps are set, Seb's surrounded. We are double kill as OG again struggling to get anything going their way against Liquid. Another sort of end of a bit of a dry spell where this passive play comes to a point where the frustration is felt. Ana feels he has to try and make something happen with the horn. It doesn't go their way, and in fact, mid lane, another attempt to push out Thompson was trying to get the creep waves away from the base, but Weehaw, he is just everywhere on this map.
Ooh, it's starting to get a bit out of hand here. Ana, he's diving forward for the kills, but that cheese gets popped. Oh, they actually popped the glyph. Jarex isn't able to get that one there with the blast even. He's gonna try again, but Weehaw, he's here.
He's gonna make him pay for it. Or at least try to do so, Jarex. They'll find him once and force to the side, the roots, making sure that no glimmer will save him. He gets it to Decrepify off, but it doesn't matter as he ticks down to the output of Weehaw. Back towards mid, OG, they've got 4 dead. Finally, Seb's back in the game. 20 seconds until Ana returns, but obviously a longer cooldown that matters, that 30 seconds before Horn. As even with the Horn, we've seen with how far Liquid are ahead, OG just struggle to get any fights going in their favor as they'll dive in. Weehaw, with all the stats, he's so tanky now in the Meepo that they cannot bully him away. And 36 minutes in, Liquid will finally get themselves into the base, take that mid ranks. They're going to look for more. Jarek's still down for 20. And they do have that Meepo ready to go. They get the toss back on Mind Control. See if they've got the damage to beat him down. No-tail offering quite a bit of right clip, but Miracle is in straight away. Look at the back line. He's on top of the ET. Anna's going to step forward for Mind Control. Horns pop. Can they get any of these kills? They're on to Miracle. Miracle BKB trying for the DBL, but he has the damage. Seb with the impetus takes down TA. And the chase continues. Anna, he found Mind Control. A second kill here for OG. Weehaw surrounds Anna. Anna needs the safety jack. He's there. Healing it. The Decrepify the heal. Anna is still alive. Seb sits to the side, throws out the impetus, and Weehaw is falling low. GH cannot save him. Weehaw is dead. OG, they'll hold on to the game. They may have lost their ranks, but they team wiped Team Liquid. That's the horn they've been looking for.
And No-Tail finally is able to be an Elder Titan in the game where he can stand next to the agility heroes. We see how much damage Ana is able to do inside of that one. No-Tail's just standing next to both of them the entire time. Liquid jumped in too far forward. Miracle.
They're getting the Roshan. Or at least they're trying. There'll be a buyback from GH. There's got to be more buybacks if Liquid want to try and force OG away. Jarex.
More buybacks.
He's already up to the high ground. They do have the Ravage still on Mind Control. Mind Control. He's looking for that option. He's stepping in. Stomp from No-Tail.
Ravage.
Does get it out. No follow-up though. It's a bit of a Ravage. And then a death. Mind Control, there's no follow-up. They've lost 2.
Oh God.
As Liquid, they throw bodies into the pit, but not enough, and not at the right time as OG, they'll get Roche. They'll get the Aegis, the cheese, and an Aghanims for No-Tail.
Aghanims for No-Tail. He picked it up instantly. It looks like he wanted it. He wants to get in.
Yeah, he's the captain.
I mean, that tells me that he wants to be...
Yeah.
Wait, how much... So with Meepo, you're actually getting the extra duration. So usually how the stomp works is however many heroes you hit with your stomp, you get the BKB timing when it comes back. But now he's going to be hitting a lot of heroes, which means he can frontline, which means he can stick on top of the heroes and apply the natural order.
This is the Meepo counter.
This is a very interesting
On another level. On another level.
All right, let's... I mean, that
and look at the gold difference. There's only a 1k gold in it.
Let's just bring up the graph. Look at this. Look at this swing. It is a 20,000 gold swing as well as a 20,000 experience swing. Oh my God, OG, they now have a full heart on the Spectre, level 25 as well. It's back the other way.
It really is, and at the point where it felt like for Liquid, it was going to really start going their way. The final moment that they were actually able to take that mid-tier 3 in the racks, That's when the game turned around entirely on its head.
The Meepo had no buyback for all of it, right? Weehaw spent all his gold thinking
now
maybe
it's
they could
OG.
lose it, and now it's OG. They're taking tier 3. Oh my god.
Seb's got a full E-blade. OG, they've done it time and time again. In games and in whole tournaments when people have been quick to count them out. They strike back. They strike back hard. They're pushing onto the ranks. Liquid will have their whole team back up. So we'll see how much OG can get. Anna still feeling confident on the front lines with that heart and Aegis. Thompson jumps in, finds Miracle outside of the base. He's stunned up. Miracle trying to hold on to the BKB charge, but they're slowing him down. They'll put the BKB. The impetus is there for Seb and just forcing Liquid back. As Liquid, they're held back behind their racks. The creeps are gone. Backdoor protection will kick back in for Liquid, but now it ends once more. As the mid lane reaches the middle racks, the range racks are gone. OG, they're going to get the melee racks as well.
I've just been watching Weehaw with this real Meepo. He's just running around trying to cut waves, collect bounty runes,
they're losing the
collect
base.
But they're losing the base.
They need Weehaw to bring his army in for the fight, but it's scary. The Elder Titan and the Axe. It's not easy for Weehaw to fight into his OG. They're not leaving, they're not going anywhere.
And look at where they're hiding the backline. Look at Jerax as well as Noto. They're hidden so far away from everybody else. They want nothing to do with this Meepo wraparound.
He's going to go in with the Rampies. They'll be able to get Seb first. Can they get more? Anna, still not the target they want to find. They want to try and find the easier kills for No-Tail. He's able to walk this off with that Axe effect. Another hero that's now so hard for Liquid to ever get on top of. Xana.
He's committing for it. He has heart.
He knows that he's safe. He's just running down Kuro. His team cannot really keep the Spectre off the Chen. As Kuro has to opt for the TP out, will manage to make it on the high ground. Anna won't continue to chase and look for the right clicks. Weehaw gets the break hit. But OG, they're now starting to play around with Liquid. Mike's drone blinks out. Miracle does pop the BKB. They're trying to run down Jerax, but the net won't catch him.
They just can't. Like, Anna's literally running into 5 heroes by himself, and the rest of the team is all the way in the back line. They just cannot deal with Spectre now.
I mean, Mind Control's still trying to chase, but they just cannot do it. In every fight, the mana gets so low. Anna.
He's healing up. He's getting ready to hunt. It looks like he's eating 2 mangoes.
Oh, they've got to be careful. Liquid, if they continue to try and chase this, you know that Horn Plate's going to come in, and there it is. Straight away, they'll turn towards Weehaw. He was the one that's trying to start the fight off, committing, but they'll turn. The damage being done from the sidelines as there comes the sun for Jerax. Bring Weehaw over to get the pre-fall. Weehaw will survive. Miracle, he's looking for that pesky poke there, along with the help of Mind Control, but another Glimmercade play gets Jerax away. No-Tail goes for the storm, won't get it out. Miracle's got the physical damage output to take him down in time. There's now Liquid, they'll find Jerax as well. In the trees with the roots, have they got the damage to kill him off? He'll slide to the side. He's trying to run away, another net will catch him out. They'll kill Jerax. Trees are being thrown left, right, and center. Thompson, can he bring down Wee with the radius of Anna burning him down? They can. They get Weehaw.
This Spectre is just an absolute monster. They can kill the other heroes. They can constantly do that inside of Liquid, but Anna doesn't look like he's dying again in this game.
He really
so
does.
far out of position.
That Anna Spectre, this is not the first time we've seen it at this TI, where he just comes into games and takes over entirely. You really have to appreciate that for a large portion of the mid game. What about 15k behind?
15,000.
Anna was the only one that was really having a game. Look at that drop off.
Yep. And you said we've seen Anna play at this TI. We also saw him playing it last TI.
Yes.
He loves his Spectre.
Anna is back. He really is at full power here in the grand finals. This game one, OG swinging it round entirely. Liquid could not get enough done early on, as this is a second set of racks that OG is taking away.
Liquid has to be pretty thankful that they still have a tier 2 up top. So OG isn't going to be able to go for those megas, as they're going to back up, but what a swing. As Liquid, how do they take fights? They now have a pretty solid build here on Miracle. He's got the Bloodthorn plus the Nullifier, but he's all in.
He's got to be worrisome, right? For Weehaw, he goes fully in on this stat build, right? No sort of X, the double Scardy.
Yep.
And still, they are killing him in the fights. It's not enough HP.
Because the HP is not the thing, right? If they're the ET, sure, he's died in the last ones, but it does amplify so much, and they do have that straight up damage that can't come out. Now we're seeing Thompson, he's starting to rack up too. He's got his Daedalus finished. Daedalus Tree Volley. They have the ways, the means to be able to bring down that Meepo.
They really do.
And now
I guess
the lanes are being pushed in. OG, they're setting up to go for that tier 2 top. They've got their pretty much everything available. They've got the haunt now too.
And a lot of those stats sort of rendered ineffective, right? All this agi that's giving him, what, 30 armor, it's taken away. There's no flat armor.
As long as the ET's next to him, yeah.
Sure.
As long as No-Tail can actually
I mean,
get
most
on
of these
top
fights,
of, which he
No-Tail
is going to.
with that axe, he can afford to get in and stomp off, and they aren't killing No-Tail straight away in the fights anymore.
There's too many things they have to pay attention to. There's too many target priorities that Liquid want to go for. But that might just be the biggest one. Trying to get this Elder Titan.
I think the big one really for Liquid is getting that Nullify. It is there.
They've got
Nullify and TA. There was already, what, two Ghost Scepters and an E-Blade on OG's lineup and a Decrepify. Now they can have a bit more luck on committing for the kills. They'll find Thompson. Silence is out. They have the pick-off potential. Anytime the OG is separated, you cannot write off how quickly Liquid's lineup can delete heroes, with Miracle's build sort of coming to completion with the Bloodthorn Nullify.
Well, Thompson was just cutting bottom wave, it looks like there, while his team was pushing top, and he just gets caught up, but he has buyback.
That'll be a buyback.
GH dies very quickly. Mind control now.
Surrounding him.
Mind control.
Jumping back. These rainbows, they hurt. I mean, they do not have buyback. They do not have buyback. Neither mind control or GH. They cannot get back into the game.
That's going to be
and OG, they're going to know this. They're going to keep the pressure up on top. Heart, Butterfly, 5.7k gold in the bank. Why not? Anna Spectre so far ahead right now, as he leads his team towards the third and final set of racks. Miracle has to blink away. Now the buybacks are available for the two of them. They have the gold to get back in. Fortification will slow down OG's efforts for now.
But they're still going to stay. OG, this is the last set of racks. Ana still feeling that powerful. There's the buyback from the Tide. The Melt Bash.
They found one outside of the base though. Weehai trying to step out. The combo, the magical damage isn't going to get him. It will. The storm sends him off. No-Tail's able to catch him before he's able to poof back. Meepo dead. He's going to have to use the buyback. Out it comes. Zana will get the D-Ward and continue to push on, taking these racks. Mind control, trying to step forward, but Seb turns towards him. Seb pretty low on the mana, but he's got enough rainbows to bring mind control down to about 25% of his HP. He'll pop the BKB and Miracles, looking for the backlines again. These Ghost Forms are annoying him. The Dispel will be there. Onto No-Tail, but Thompson's got the combo, the damage to kill him off. Mind control is in with the Ravage. They're trying their best to commit on top of Seb. Gush is out. Can they even kill off the Enchilo? They've tried their best on the high ground. Anna, he has been nullified. The damage output, it's enough. Again, this single target from Liquid, if they get it going, they can still kill the cause of OG. Even the big old Spectre. As Liquid will hold, it's 3 buybacks they have to use.
Seb instantly buying back. The Roche is up.
They want to contest it.
Going into it there's going to have to be a bunch of buybacks for OG. They have Refresher queued up on Ana. How much gold does he have for buyback? He doesn't have, he's almost has enough for buyback with the Refresher. But Liquid,
if he wants to sell one of his items,
they're going to be able to get this one though.
OG, of course, were able to take that melee rack stop, so they are just holding on to a ranged racks Liquid, but they are doing exactly that. They are holding on in this game.
And Thompson, he was already positioned up toward top, looking to try to go for more split push. But Liquid, they have to just run it down the mid lane, try to force these buybacks. Aegis Cheese.
Well, we see, so at the moment, the Aghanims and the Refresher Shard being held by mind control. Is yet to consume the Aghanim's blessing. Liquid trying to force out these buybacks. Anna, he's got to buy back. The tier 4s are being focused. They're not interested in Megas Liquid. They're just interested in ending the game.
Still holding on to it.
The first tier 4's down. Liquid, they're going to be able to get potentially another one out of this. Kuro falling low, turn with the Penitent. He's still alive at the back of this. Finally, the buyback comes out. The Ancient is exposed.
The Ancient's gone down.
Ravage. They're just going to keep hitting it. Liquid, they've done it.
Oh my God.
What an end to game 1. It looked like Liquid had it in the early game. It looked like they started to throw it away. It looked like OG was on the verge of getting the win. They took everything bar 1 range racks from Liquid's pace. But then Liquid, they come back into the game, get the Roche, run down mid. Anna, I don't know why he was waiting, but he never bought back.
He held it
to that very last moment. But at that point, it was too late. Mind control with a spectacular, tentacular finish to the game. Ravages them. It gives all the space in the world for them to take down the Ancient.
If that's a telling of anything that we're going to see in these next few games, Bring it on.
I can't quite believe what we saw in this game.
The graph
this had
is the
everything.
story right there. If you look, I mean, you guys can't see the graph right now, but it's just all the way up for Liquid, then all the way slams down for OG's favor, then all the way back up for Liquid. What a back and forth one that looked like OG. They were going to be able to take it there with the Super
really
Spectre, but Liquid, the perseverance, they're able to isolate him, and they kept their cool.
They really, really did. What a way to start off the best of 5 grand finals here at the International 2019.
Was just the first one to open up the International Grand Finals of 2019. Now, before we're gonna discuss that, we're gonna give the draft panel a crack at trying to break that first game down. Take it away, Tsunami.
Really, there's only one thing necessary to break down, and that's the dichotomy between the Spectre and the Meepo.
Yeah.
You had mentioned earlier that Spectres these days, they're going for Midases, and that's something that, you know, for a lot of people would seem a little bit uncommon. You're a hard carry, you want to get to your Radiance, you're farming Accelerant as quick as possible. So allow me to show you just how much a Midas helps the Spectre in terms of net worth. This is the comparison between the Meepo's net worth and the Spectre's net worth. Obviously, we're seeing a few dips every once in a while, but that's because, you know, buybacks or winning a team fight and stuff like that. It's not often that a Spectre would be able to stay this close to a Meepo in terms of net worth.
Yeah, usually the Meepo's gonna like get really far ahead. That hero's like supposed to control the early game, right? Nothing else matters in the game besides the first 30 minutes. Usually, the saying is like if Meepo goes to late game, he's gonna lose, and in that game, he won the late game.
Yeah, I always consider it like a high acceleration, low top speed kind of thing. It's kind of why, same thing with anti-mage. Like, you get that farm extremely quick, and all of a sudden, you're all capped out, right, Pilot Eye?
Yeah, but you would also expect, I don't know, I mean, I'm just looking at your cool graph there, but when a team is ahead and they have a Meepo, like generally that Meepo is, like it's going crazy. Like the net worth is just balling out of control. But like in this patch, it's very hard to punish. Like if one guy like wants to get farmed, like and he's just playing for the farm, like it's very hard to stop him.
It's like Alchemist, right?
Yeah, I mean that's why Alchemist feels very annoying to play against, because when he disappears, like he's just even fatter than these other guys.
So then, do you think it's a disadvantage that they already revealed the Meepo this early on in a best of 5? Because like RMN was talking that in a best of 5 you can drop a game, and maybe that's what he was thinking when he was like, okay, we can pick a Meepo, we'll see how that one pans out. Instead, they just straight up go for it in game 1, and it brings them success. So moving forward, is that something that's going to be like respect banned by OG, or is it just the same state of mind for OG where they're like, whatever, we can drop one, we got Meepo, it's fine?
I think it's more, I'm pretty sure they played it earlier in the tournament, right?
Yeah. So
I've seen a few times, but it's not like, I think it was like a lot of like their Ench counter in the safe lane, like the trick. But I'm pretty sure OG saw it coming. Like that's at least what the coach said, Sox, right? Like I'm pretty sure they should have seen that Meepo coming. And now like if they first pick Ench, they'll think about that Meepo.
It just says
but
like
at the same time though, like look at that game.
Yeah, it could like force out a ban. It could force out a ban later if they're scared. It opens up maybe one more hero slot for Liquid to pick another hero in the draft. Maybe like Meepo was their second option, but their first was banned, so can maybe get in the heads of OG.
And then how do you think about the priority of Enchantress now? So the first bans were the Magnus, the IO, and then what was the third ban that Liquid went for? Alchemist, yeah, exactly. So now you gave away the Enchantress. You proved that you know how to deal with an Enchantress. Yeah. Is OG still going to value that hero as highly?
It's hard to. This is like it's very hard to be objective and look at it in a logical way when the game goes like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have things to consider, right? Like Liquid consider Shen a counter, like in terms of like he shows up to lane, he has more regen for his partner, and he can TP back, he can bring him back.
Right.
So like maybe they'll be banning Shen if they want to first big Ench. But yeah, I think they might stick with it. That's what I would think.
Yeah, it didn't necessarily. I mean, the game was at a precipice. It could have literally gone either way.
The issue with the Meepo though is you have to pick it late in the stage, like second, third phase usually, and all the other like strong heroes right now are first phase. Like even Alchemist used to be like a 10th pick. Now people are just first picking and winning every game. So this Meepo hero can't be in that situation. I think right now the hero itself is too weak, so you have to pick it later, which kind of devalues it. So the Ench might still be high value.
Very well, gentlemen. I appreciate the insight. We'll get more from you guys as we move on to the Game 2 draft, but I'll send it back to you guys for right now.
Thank you so much. And indeed, and with that all said, Grant, can you guess who the people that were watching have voted for the MVP?
I'm trying to think. It has to be Weehaw.
Was it Weehaw? Could it be,
It was.
Easy Weehaw. 36,000 votes.
And that was a well-played game by him, right? You don't always think about it. It has to be a safe lane Meepo because they have a TA who's, I mean, TA safe lane is the worst thing I've ever seen. So they're forced to put the Meepo there and still just has an amazing game like Weehaw, right? The only one who hasn't won a TI on the stage. He's been in the grand finals, but he hasn't won one, and he just has the performance of a lifetime.
Oh, man, but were you guys getting flashbacks? I was getting flashbacks, right, to last year, right? You're like, okay, OG, they're behind, but Liquid, I mean, they look so dominant. I thought, okay, yeah, this game's over. Liquid are going to do it, and then OG, they just start rallying, right? They just play these incredible team fights that are just on a hair, a knife's edge of just this heal from Jerax from the support Pugna, who hadn't got a whole lot done that game necessarily up until those points. Keeps the game alive, keeps it going, and then I thought that was going to be so demoralizing for Liquid if they managed to lose in that fashion, but they did not. But they have defeated the curse of OG.
I think Liquid could have closed out the game a bit more earlier after the second Roche when they had the cheese TA, aggressively blinked in, didn't pop it, and this is what gave OG opportunity to come back into this game. Also, again, stacking minus armor, Deso, Meld, Gush, Solar Crest. If Spectre is isolated on top of Bloodthorn, she just gets melted. If she's away from the team, if no one can protect her. But we got to give credit to OG because of all the kiting they did in the mid game with the Force Staff, with all the Ghost Scepters, even E-Blade on Ench, plus a Decrypify on who had Pugna, Zolt. That was a lot of kiting and just a beautiful Dota to watch.
Very great Dota to watch. You see also Kura with a 2-3-20 stat. It's great, but it's it's a slow hero. I normally feel like he's the target that's going to die a lot.
Yeah.
And he was dying the least.
And he was, and they talked about it, right? That hero is just so good because it helps other heroes. Like, you always get